Chapter 2934. There were tens of thousands of realms in the colossal world. Apart from the 81 Devata realms, there were also countless mundane realms. The Purple Spike realm was one of them. The Purple Spike realm was a large mundane realm with countless planets in the boundless starry sky. Currently, a planet in one of the galaxies had attracted the attention of many people. Many powerhouses from the Purple Spike realm had gathered here after they heard the news. Their gazes were all fixed on the planet that was shining with purple light in the boundless starry sky. That planet? Is it the ruin left behind by the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial? It's said that the planet appeared 3 years ago. However, the formation around the planet kept everyone out. Up until now, only one person has managed to enter the planet. Moreover, that person isn't a bodiless celestial. Not a bodiless celestial. That's right. It's said that not only is that person not a bodiless celestial, but her cultivation base is still far from being able to transcend the heavenly tribulation. What's going on? Is it possible that the person is the successor chosen by the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial? Many figures stood around the planet that was emitting purple light. Similar discussions could be heard everywhere. The Purple Spike Supreme Celestial was a legend in the mundane realm. In fact, to commemorate the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial, the mundane realm was named the Purple Spike Realm. This was a privilege that not everyone could enjoy. After all, the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial was the first person to ascend to the celestial realm. Most of the cultivation legacies in the mundane realm originated from the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial. Due to this reason, the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial's status in the mundane realm was unparalleled. However, due to the passage of time, no one knew the gender of the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial. Only the legacy left behind by the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial was known. It was said that after the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial ascended to the Devata realm, he had returned to the Purple Spike realm and left behind his legacy. Moreover, after leaving behind his legacy, the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial had said to the entire Purple Spike realm. He had said that when his legacy appeared, his successor would be born as well. He hoped that the entire Redbud Plain would be able to witness that moment. 3 years ago, this planet suddenly appeared and exploded with purple light. The spell formations around it are airtight. According to the message left behind by the Purple Spike Supreme Immortal, this is most likely his legacy. That's right. Even when more than 10 bodiless celestials who were about to ascend to the Devata realms joined forces, they couldn't do anything to the formation around the planet. It's obvious this is the legacy left behind by the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial. 3 years. This planet has already appeared for 3 years. It wasn't until 3 months ago that someone managed to enter. At that time, no one thought that someone would be able to enter. At that time, I just so happened to see that person. It was a woman wearing a purple veil and purple clothes. Although she wore a veil, it was not difficult to tell that she was a beauty from her exposed eyebrows and eyes. Clearly, she's the successor chosen by the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial. Around the planet that was surrounded by purple light, many figures stood there for a long time. They looked at the planet in front of them. When they mentioned the woman in purple who had entered the planet, their eyes simultaneously revealed looks of envy and jealousy. At this moment, there were many powerhouses from the top forces in the Redbud Plain. Some of them were even the strongest powerhouses in the Redbud Plain. However, even they could only stare at the planet in front of them, unable to do anything. Just like the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial had said, he wanted them to witness his legacy being inherited by his successor. No matter how lively it was outside, the planet that was shrouded in purple light was exceptionally calm. Behind the purple light that blotted out the sky was a planet that could not be considered big. At this moment, a person could be seen sitting cross-legged in the only building on the planet. It was a majestic palace. In the vast and boundless hall, countless complex patterns were carved on the vast and boundless ground. These lines gathered from all directions. Finally, all of them gathered on the altar-like stone platform in the middle of the large hall. There were even more complicated inscriptions carved on the stone platform. From time to time, the inscriptions would emit a purple light. At this moment, a purple-clad woman could be seen standing on the stone platform. She had a graceful figure and an enchanting face. It was as though she could mesmerize all living things. The purple light that was emitting from the stone platform surged into her body from her feet. Her purple robes flapped rhythmically, and her beautiful hair fluttered even though there was no wind. Apart from that, a purple veil could be seen lying on the side of the stone platform beneath her feet. It was the same veil that was previously worn by the purple-clad woman. However, it was blown away by the energy that surged into her body from the stone platform. Suddenly, the woman in purple opened her eyes. Her enchanting face, paired with a pair of gem-like eyes, was particularly eye-catching. What's going on? Looking left and right, looking at the vast and boundless hall, the purple-clothed woman's face was filled with astonishment and confusion. What's this place? Why am I here? No, I can't stay here for long. I still have to look for Tian'er. Tian'er is missing. If I can't find him, how am I going to explain myself to the bad guy in the future? When the purple-clad woman reached the end of her sentence, tears welled up in her beautiful eyes again. However, even though she wanted to leave, she quickly realized that her feet, which were standing on the stone platform, seemed to have grown roots and were filled with lead. She could not move at all. At this moment, she shuddered as she recalled what had happened before she lost consciousness. I remember there was a voice that seemed to be calling out to me. After that, I arrived near a purple planet that was shrouded in purple light. According to the people around me, it seemed to be the inheritance left behind by the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial. Moreover, it had been 3 years since then. Even if the most powerful beings in the Purple Spike realm joined forces, they still couldn't break the formation on the planet's surface. As soon as I got close to the planet, I lost consciousness. However, before I lost consciousness, an invisible force seemed to be pulling me closer to the planet. The purple-clad woman's eyes widened when she thought about this. Is this the planet? No, that's not right. If this is really the planet, why am I able to come in when so many people can't? The purple-clad woman could not help but shake her head when she reached the end of her sentence. It's because you're the successor I've chosen. As soon as the purple-clad woman finished muttering to herself, a voice that seemed to come from all directions entered her ears. It was a woman's voice. It seemed to have come from the surroundings of the palace. However, it was difficult to tell where the voice came from. Who's there? The sudden voice gave the woman a fright, causing her expression to change instantly. At the same time, she looked around in a slightly panicked state. It's me. The voice rang again. At the same time, a wave of energy appeared in front of the purple-clad woman, before a figure appeared out of thin air. It was a purple-clad woman with an ordinary appearance. Her body was shrouded in a faint purple light. Since the figure was gray, one could not see the color of her clothes. However, even so, she still gave off an inexplicable sense of respect just by standing there. Who are you? The purple-clad woman asked in shock when she saw the figure that had appeared out of thin air. The people in this mundane realm call me the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial. The one who's speaking to you now isn't a remnant soul or a clone I left here. It's my avatar that's separated from the Devata realm and the mundane realm, the figure replied. The purple-clad woman was stunned. The Purple Spike Supreme Celestial? Why, you're the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial. Upon hearing the figure's words, the purple-clad woman looked at the figure, as though she had just seen a ghost. A hint of disbelief could be seen on her face. Yes, the figure continued to say, I know you have a lot of questions, but my avatar can only exist for a short time, so I'll keep it short. A long time ago, I discovered that I couldn't unleash the full potential of my cultivation method when I was in the mundane realm. Due to my lack of foundation in the mundane realm, my cultivation base has remained stagnant at the 10 Directions Celestial Emperor realm. Moreover, it's impossible for me to advance any further. After discovering this problem, I returned to the Purple Spike realm and left behind my legacy. Rather than calling it a legacy, it's more accurate to call it a bridge between the two realms. Apart from defensive formations, this planet also has concealment formations and so on. Back then I used a special technique to conceal this planet. Only when the divine consciousness I left on this planet detects someone who can unleash the full potential of my cultivation method in the mundane realm, will it reveal itself and guide that person in. I'm sure you've guessed it by now. That person is you. You are the successor that I have chosen. You'll definitely surpass me in the future. Hearing the words of the illusory figure, a shocked expression appeared on the face of the purple-clothed woman. Then, a look of disbelief appeared on her face, and finally, a look of pleasant surprise appeared on her face. The purple spike Supreme Celestial had become a 10 Directions Celestial Emperor in a Devata realm? And now, the other party was saying that she was the chosen inheritor? At this moment, tears began to roll down the purple-clad woman's cheeks. If Duan Lingtian were here, he would recognize the purple-clad woman immediately. The purple-clad woman was none other than one of his wives. Chapter 2935. Ever since Li Fei was sent to the Purple Spike realm by Xia Jie, she had been traveling alone in the mundane realm. At first, her beauty attracted bees and butterflies, and attracted many lechers. Fortunately, those people's strength was not as good as hers, so she was not in any danger along the way. Later on, in order to avoid trouble, and also to avoid encountering existences stronger than herself, she began to wear a veil and wander the mundane plane. She traveled to the Purple Spike realm to look for her son with Duan Lingtian. Duan Yantian. At that time, Xia Jie had sent them back to the mundane realm from the divine offering land. She was not sure about the others, but she was certain her son, Duan Yantian, was sent to the Purple Spike realm just like her. Until a few months ago, she was guided to this place by an unfathomable will. Although she knew the Purple Spike realm's legendary figure, the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial, had left her legacy here. She did not expect she would be able to obtain the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial's legacy. However, based on the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial's words, it was clear she had been chosen as her successor. Li Fei burst into tears. Along the way, as her man, Duan Lingtian, grew stronger and stronger, she felt like she could not help him at all. Later on, when Kuer's identity was revealed, it made her feel inferior subconsciously. She felt that she was a useless vase. Naturally, she was the only one who knew about this. She did not want to be a vase. She wanted to be someone who could help her man, Duan Lingtian, and her family. Now that the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial had chosen her as her successor, she saw a glimmer of hope. At the same time, all the grievances she had suffered over the years erupted in tears. After a long while, she finally stopped crying. "Why me?" Li Fei asked as she looked at the figure in front of her. She did not think she was outstanding in any way. Why would the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial choose her as her successor? According to the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial, she was now a 10 Directions Celestial Emperor. Before going to the Divine Offering Land, Li Fei did not know what it meant to be a 10 Directions Celestial Emperor. However, after going to the Divine Offering Land, she learned a lot about the Devata realms. This included the 10 Directions Celestial Emperors. 10 Directions Celestial Emperors were the strongest beings in the Devata realms. For example, the heavenly emperors of the Devata realms were all 10 Directions Celestial Emperors, who ruled over their respective Devata realms. This is because your body is different from the people I've seen in the mundane realms and the Devata realms. It's very special. As for why it's special, I don't know. It's as if I've been baptized by some special spiritual energy of heaven and earth. My body that has been baptized by this kind of baptism is perfectly compatible with my cultivation method, and I'll be able to use it to the fullest in the mundane realm. The Purple Spike Supreme Celestial Emperor continued to say, "My only requirement for my successor is to surpass my potential. I'm destined to remain a 10 Directions Celestial Emperor for the rest of my life. However, you're different. As long as you have a good foundation in the mundane realm, you'll definitely surpass the 10 Directions Celestial Emperor in the future." The silhouette, the Purple Spike Supreme Celestial's avatar, said confidently. Based on her words, it was clear that she was confident in Li Fei's future. Baptism by some special spiritual energy of heaven and earth? Is she talking about the baptism by the heaven and earth spirit in the divine offering land? Upon hearing the purple spike supreme celestial's words, Li Fei immediately thought of the heaven and earth spirit in the divine offering land. It was said that the heaven and earth spirit in the divine offering land was much stronger than in the Devata realms. When she first went to the divine offering land, she was not used to it at all. She even felt her meridians were blocked, and she could not cultivate at all. It was only after a period of time that she finally got used to it. However, at the same time, her cultivation speed was terrifyingly fast. At the same time, she was not the only one. Even the people around her who were brought to the world of divine offering from the mundane realm felt a subtle change in their bodies. Of course, the transformation would only be beneficial to them and not harmful at all. At this moment, Li Fei finally understood what was going on. As it turned out, the purple spike supreme celestial had taken a liking to her because she had been to the divine offering land and stayed there for a period of time. Her body had undergone some changes after being baptized by the heaven and earth spirit in the divine offering land. These changes were the main reason the purple spike supreme celestial had taken a liking to her. Now prepare to receive my inheritance. After you've received my inheritance, we'll meet again in the Devata realm. After you've ascended, the 4 maidservants I've left behind in the purple spike realm will bring you to see me. The purple spike supreme celestial continued to say, "Wait a minute. Senior, can you help me look for my son?" Just as the purple spike supreme immortal's projection was about to disappear, Li Fei recalled her missing son, and she asked anxiously, "What happened?" Unfortunately, as soon as Li Fei finished speaking, the purple spike supreme celestial's silhouette disappeared. At the same time, Li Fei could clearly feel that a powerful aura suddenly emerged from the surroundings of the main hall. The aura was like the waves of the sea, slapping towards her. A moment later, she lost consciousness again because she couldn't bear the impact. As time passed, more and more people arrived. For beautiful figures could be seen standing in a row among the crowd as they looked at the planet that was shining with a purple light. Young Master has finally appeared. Master asked the 4 of us to stay in the purple spike realm to wait for the young Master. Now that the young Master has appeared, it means we can return to the Devata realm. According to Master, she'll only choose those who have greater potential than her as the young Master. Moreover, the young Master will definitely surpass her in the future. The 3 of you mustn't disrespect the young Master just because she's weak now. Otherwise, I won't let you off before Master punishes you. Sister May, are you kidding? The young Master is the successor chosen by Master. How can we disrespect her? The 4 women all had extraordinarily beautiful appearances. When the 4 of them stood together, the most eye-catching thing was their nearly identical faces. Apart from their different auras, their appearances were almost identical. Apart from that, their attire was different as well. The woman who was addressed as Sister May stood at the extreme left. She wore a purple robe with plum blossoms embroidered on it. The woman on the right was also dressed in a purple robe with orchids embroidered on it. The third woman was dressed in a purple robe with bamboo leaves embroidered on it. The fourth woman was dressed in a purple robe with chrysanthemums embroidered on it. At this moment, the 4 of them were looking at the planet in front of them, as though they were waiting for something. At the same time, in a remote cave in a barren mountain range, in the Great Desolation Realm, "Aunt Wu, are you all right?" A beautiful young woman dressed in white asked worriedly, as she looked at the red-clad woman, who was sitting cross-legged in the cave. A lifelike fire dragon could be seen coiling around the red-clad woman's body, before it entered her body. After a while, the red-clad woman opened her eyes, and wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth. Then, she looked at the young woman in front of her and shook her head with a smile. "Don't worry, Ling. I'm fine. If Father is here, I'll definitely ask him to kill the person who injured Aunt Wu so he can avenge Aunt Wu." The white-clad young woman clenched her small fists, as she spoke with a furious expression on her face. As soon as she finished speaking, her eyes turned red. "Aunt Wu, do you think we'll be able to see Father?" "Of course." The red-clad woman smiled as she patted the young woman's head. At the same time, her gaze turned misty, a purple figure appeared in her mind. It was a tall and handsome young man with sword-like eyebrows and bright eyes. He was the only man she had ever loved in her life. Although they had not seen each other for many years, her love for him had never changed. Elder brother Duan, you and Sister Kerr's daughter looks like you and Sister Kerr. After a moment, the woman in red regained her senses. She looked at the young girl's delicate face, which seemed like it could be broken with a flick of a finger, and muttered in her heart. The red-clad woman was none other than Feng Tianwu, who was sent away by Xia Jie from the Divine Offering Land. When they were traveling through the spatial turbulence and approaching the mundane realm, she had tried her best to bring Duan Lingtian and Kerr's daughter, Duan Si Ling, to her side and entered the Great Desolation Realm with her. The Great Desolation Realm was a mundane realm similar to her hometown, the Saint Province Realm. It was not a large mundane realm like the Purple Spike Realm or the Yanhuang Realm. There were no planets or galaxies in the Great Desolation Realm. Naturally, one could still see planets and galaxies in the Great Desolation Realm. Aunt Wu, why don't you stop your cultivation base from rising? You should ascend as soon as possible and look for father. Duan Si Ling, the daughter of Duan Ling Tian and Kur, suddenly clenched her teeth and said to Feng Tianwu, "Don't worry. Ever since Feng Tianwu brought Duan Si Ling to the Great Desolation Realm, her body had been cleansed by the heaven and earth spirit energy in the Divine Offering Land. She discovered that even though she was in the mundane realm, her cultivation base was still improving rapidly. Moreover, if she wanted to, she would be able to ascend to a Devata realm in no time. However, considering Duan Si Ling had no one to rely on in the Great Desolation Realm, she did not feel at ease leaving Duan Si Ling alone in the Great Desolation Realm. For this reason, she deliberately suppressed her cultivation base to accompany Duan Si Ling and wait for Duan Si Ling to ascend with her. Chapter 2936. Si Ling, I won't abandon you. Upon hearing Duan Si Ling's words, Feng Tianwu shook her head and said firmly. Naturally, there was something else that Feng Tianwu did not say. She was worried about Duan Si Ling. If something happened to Duan Si Ling because of her, how was she going to face her elder brother Duan in the future? For this reason, she would not allow anything to happen to Duan Si Ling unless she was dead. Aunt Wu. Tears welled up in Duan Si Ling's eyes as she looked at Feng Tianwu. Apart from Li Fei, Feng Tianwu, and Duan Si Ling, the rest of the people who were sent to the mundane realm by Xia Jie from the Divine Offering Land were safe and sound. Moreover, since their bodies had been cleansed by the heaven and earth spirit energy in the Divine Offering Land, they had obtained a great opportunity. Now their cultivation speed was far from what it was in the past. Moreover, some of them had even passed the heavenly tribulation and were waiting to ascend. Duan Lingtian was unaware of this. Currently, Duan Lingtian was still under the impression that his family and friends were imprisoned in the Divine Offering Land. For this reason, he was eager to raise his cultivation base as soon as possible, so that he would be able to enter the Divine Offering Land after 1,000 years to save them. In the southern heaven territory of the spirit overarching heaven, in the supporting fall nation of the profound nether mansion. My lord, it's almost time. A middle-aged man stood outside a guest room in an inn in the capital. His voice that was laced with celestial origin energy entered the room. The energy fluctuation in the room resonated with his voice. After a while, the energy fluctuation in the room disappeared. At the same time, the door opened with a creak. A figure appeared in front of the door. This was an extraordinarily handsome young man wearing a purple robe. He had an extraordinary temperament, and he seemed to have become the focus of attention in an instant. Let's go. This purple-clad young man was none other than Duan Ling Tian, who had been in closed-door cultivation for an entire month. After he left the inn, he glanced at the middle-aged man at the entrance and greeted him before he walked out of the inn. The middle-aged man, Lu Guanglin, followed closely behind Duan Ling Tian as he led the way to the imperial palace of the supporting fall nation. So many people. The imperial palace of the supporting fall nation was located at the foot of the capital. It occupied a large area in the east of the capital. When Duan Lingtian arrived, he saw a huge crowd at the entrance of the imperial palace. Although there are a lot of people, very few can enter. Apart from those who have registered for the Southern Heaven tournament, only those who have registered with them can enter. Apart from that, only one person is allowed to enter the Imperial Palace of the Fall Nation, can only bring one person with them. Duan Lingtian nodded. Then he approached the grand entrance of the Imperial Palace with Lu Guanglin. As expected, there were much fewer people entering the Imperial Palace compared to the people outside. My lord, this is your entry pass. At the same time, Lu Guanglin passed the entry pass to Duan Lingtian. He had obtained the entry pass to enter the Imperial Palace on the day of the Southern Heaven combat. Duan Lingtian passed the entry pass to the guard at the entrance of the Imperial Palace, before he led Lu Guanglin into the Imperial Palace. After entering the Imperial Palace, there were people standing at intervals to guide the way. Therefore, Duan Lingtian and Lu Guanglin did not get lost. You can enter if you sign up. Doesn't that mean that many people can sign up? Duan Lingtian asked as he looked at Lu Guanglin along the way. However, one has to be an overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial to enter the Imperial Palace. Those who are not overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestials can only bring one overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial with them to enter the Imperial Palace. Lu Guanglin explained. Apart from that, although there's a rule that forbids killing during the Southern Heaven combat, there's bound to be some friction between the two parties. It's possible that one would be severely injured and suffer from life-threatening illnesses. Therefore, unless one is an overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial, one wouldn't dare to enter the Imperial Palace. After all, one would have to enter the Southern Heaven combat, and would not be allowed to admit defeat easily, unless one's opponent is an extremely powerful overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial. Lu Guanglin continued to explain. Duan Lingtian nodded in agreement. Soon after, Duan Lingtian led Lu Guanglin to the courtyard of the Imperial Palace, where the Southern Heaven combat would be held. The courtyard was the front courtyard of the Imperial Palace. It was spacious, and there were 9 circular arenas in the middle of the courtyard. However, these arenas were different from the arenas Duan Lingtian had seen in the past. These arenas were equipped with light-gathering formations. A beam of light could be seen rising from each of the arenas into the sky. However, these beams of light covered a large area. Once they were cut, they would form a circle with a diameter of 100 meters. There were 9 beams of light in the 9 arenas, and each of them had a different color. Apart from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple, there were also white and gray. There were 9 colors. Apart from that, there were spectator seats in the 4 corners of the 9 arenas. One of the spectator seats was majestic. It was not difficult to guess it was prepared for the members of the imperial family. The spectator seats on the left and right sides of the spectator seats were different from the spectator seats at the back. It was obvious they were prepared for people with extraordinary statuses. Only the spectator seats at the back were suitable for ordinary people. The seats that the imperial family of the supporting Fall Nation had arranged for Duan Lingtian and Lu Guanglin were located at the back of the spectator seats. At this moment, almost half of the spectator seats were occupied. Qingzi, are you confident? You've recently become a peak overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial. I'm sure it won't be difficult for you to obtain one of the 9 spots, right? A voice rang in Duan Lingtian and Lu Guanglin's ears as they made their way to their seats. Duan Lingtian looked over and saw a middle-aged man speaking to another middle-aged man next to him. I'm not completely confident. After all, the celestial methods and divine abilities I've mastered are only heaven-grade celestial methods and divine abilities. Although I've comprehended most of the celestial methods and divine abilities to their limits, there's still one heaven-grade movement, celestial method, that I haven't comprehended to its limit. That's why I haven't mastered it completely. In that case, it's indeed a little difficult. The middle-aged man nodded. However, it's fine as long as you do your best. If you fail, you'll have another chance next time. All right. Qingzi nodded. Next time? Duan Lingtian could not help but smile when he heard the middle-aged man's words. Based on his knowledge, the Southern Heaven combat was only held once every 100 years, right? Was the middle-aged man cursing Qingzi to remain a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial even after 100 years? However, Qingzi seems to think the middle-aged man is right. Duan Lingtian was slightly puzzled by Qingzi's reaction. "My lord, what's wrong?" Lu Guanglin asked when he saw Duan Lingtian's expression. When Duan Lingtian finished speaking, Lu Guanglin could not help but shake his head with a bitter smile on his face. "My lord, you don't know how lucky you are. You're considered a top genius in the profound nether mansion. If it weren't for your help, it would have taken me 100 years to break through from a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial to a celestial duke. One of my companions, a one basic celestial duke, took 1,000 years to break through from a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial to a one basic celestial duke." The bitter smile on Lu Guanglin's face deepened. Duan Lingtian could not help but shake his head when he heard Lu Guanglin's words. He realized he had been comparing himself to others. Although he lowered his standards occasionally, he did not lower his standards by much. After Duan Lingtian and Lu Guanglin sat down, more and more people began to arrive. Soon enough, the area where they were seated was almost full. At the same time, people began to arrive from the spectator seats on both sides. That's the city governor of Passage City. Soon after, a group of 5 people arrived at the front of the spectating area on the left side of the spectating area, where Duan Lingtian and the others were seated. As soon as the group of 5 people sat down, Duan Lingtian heard a commotion. Duan Lingtian's gaze followed the person's gaze and landed on the leader of the group of 5. The leader was a middle-aged man dressed in a long dark golden robe. He was tall and well-built, and his face was as fair as jade. His aura was majestic, and he had an extraordinary bearing. "He's Huang Yuanfei, the city governor of Passage City?" "That's right. That's him. I was fortunate enough to meet this city lord Huang once." "The city governor of Passage City, Huang Yuanfei? Isn't he the strongest person in the supporting Fall Nation after the emperor?" "He's widely acknowledged as the strongest person in the supporting Fall Nation after all." As more and more people joined in the discussion, Duan Lingtian finally understood why the city governor of Passage City had attracted so much attention as soon as he appeared. As it turned out, the city governor of Passage City was not only a 10 Directions Celestial Duke, but he was also the strongest 10 Directions Celestial Duke in the supporting Fall Nation. He was widely acknowledged as the strongest person in the supporting Fall Nation after all. At the same time, Duan Lingtian shifted his attention to the 2 old men and 2 young men standing next to the city governor of Passage City. The 2 young men more or less resembled the city governor of Passage City. One of them had the eyes and nose of the city governor of Passage City, while the other had the mouth and chin of the city governor of Passage City. The 2 young men standing next to city governor Huang must be his 2 most outstanding sons, right? It's said that city governor Huang has 5 sons, but the 2 youngest sons are the most outstanding. Both of them are only slightly over 100 years old, but they're already peak overarching heavenly supreme celestials. They're like a pair of prodigies. It's said that the elder brother of the 2 has mastered the 2 Duke-grade celestial methods and divine abilities to their limits. That's city governor Huang's 4th son, Huang Jialong. Chapter 2937. My lord, while you were in closed-door cultivation, I learned a lot about the supporting Fall Nation, including the 2 youngest sons of Huang Yuanfei, the city governor of Passage City. At this moment, Lu Guanglin's voice rang in Duan Lingtian's ears. Huang Jialong, the 4th son of Huang Yuanfei, the city governor of Passage City, has become a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial before the age of 200. Moreover, he has comprehended and mastered a triple trait Duke-grade celestial method and a triple trait divine ability. Lu Guanglin said to Duan Lingtian as he looked at the tall and handsome young man standing next to Huang Yuanfei. The young man was almost as handsome as Duan Lingtian. Apart from you and Miss Huan I'm afraid no one else in the borderlands is as talented as him. At the very least, I've never heard of anyone else in the borderlands who is as talented as him. Although Huaner had the celestial weapon given to her by Pei Yuanji to conceal her aura, Lu Guanglin had spoken to Duan Lingtian before. Therefore, he knew Huan Er was younger than Duan Lingtian. Apart from that, Huang Yuanfei's fifth son, Huang Jiachao, is also very talented. He's 10 years younger than Huang Jialong, but he has already become a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Moreover, he has comprehended and mastered a triple trait Duke grade celestial method. It's said that he has also mastered a triple trait Duke grade divine ability. Both of them are definitely ranked in the top 5 among the overarching heavenly supreme celestials in the supporting Fall Nation. Lu Guanglin said confidently. Therefore, I'm sure they'll be able to get 2 of the 9 spots in the Southern Heaven combat. They're indeed talented. Upon hearing Lu Guanglin's words, Duan Lingtian shifted his attention to the 2 sons of the city governor of Passage City. In the borderlands, he had never met or even heard of anyone who was more talented than the 2 sons of the city lord of Passage City. However, there's no age limit in the Southern Heaven combat. I'm sure there are some peak overarching heavenly supreme celestials who have been in the Southern Heaven combat for many years. Among those people, there is no lack of people who have mastered various Duke grade celestial methods and divine abilities. Duan Lingtian was very clear about this. Immortals, as long as they didn't die prematurely, had endless life. Even if a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial, who had lived for thousands, or even tens of thousands of years, had an ordinary innate talent, given enough time, they would definitely achieve great things. At the very least, they would have a high cultivation base among peak overarching heavenly supreme celestials. Soon after, some more people came from the 2 spectator seats, which also caused many people to whisper to each other. However, compared to the city governor of Passage City, Huang Yuanfei and his 2 sons, the commotion caused by these people was much smaller. At the same time, Duan Lingtian knew that he had guessed correctly. As expected, the 2 spectator seats were prepared for certain people. These people were mostly prominent figures in the supporting Fall Nation. Apart from the city lords of the supporting Fall Nation, there were also some sects and clans in the supporting Fall Nation present. Naturally, these sects and clans could only be considered ordinary in the central area. They were not as powerful as the imperial family of the supporting Fall Nation. After paying attention to the city governor of Passage City and the others, Duan Lingtian closed his eyes to meditate as he thought about how close he was to breaking through to the overarching heavenly supreme celestial stage. I'm so close to breaking through to the heaven stage, overarching heavenly supreme celestial. It seems like I can only rely on the consumable royal grade celestial weapon for the time being in the Southern Heaven combat. Duan Lingtian sighed inwardly. After a while, the people from the imperial family are here. Duan Lingtian, who was resting with his eyes closed, opened his eyes when he heard the voice. With just a glance, Duan Lingtian saw a tall and majestic middle-aged man dressed in a golden dragon robe. He was escorted by a group of people as he flew toward Duan Lingtian. After a while, the group of people landed on the spectator seats opposite Duan Lingtian. Although the area of the spectating area was the same as Duan Lingtian's spectating area, the number of seats in the spectating area was less than 1/10 of Duan Lingtian's spectating area. "Greetings, Your Majesty! Greetings, Your Majesty!" As the group of people landed on the spectator seats opposite him, Duan Lingtian quickly saw the influential figures in the spectator seats on both sides of the spectator seats stand up one after another and lead the juniors to bow to the dragon-robed middle-aged man in the lead. On the other hand, none of the people in the spectator seats near Duan Lingtian rose to their feet to salute the middle-aged man. This was because most of the people in the spectator seats were sectless cultivators. Naturally, they were not interested in formalities. "He's Hu Lin Yi, the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation? He's a celestial king?" Duan Lingtian looked at the middle-aged man dressed in a dragon robe. The middle-aged man was seated in the middle of the spectator seats. Some of the people who came with him were seated beside him, while others were seated behind him. There were only 2 rows of spectators in the spectator seats. The green-robed young man next to the emperor of the Windfall Nation must be his most outstanding son, the 4th prince, right? That's right. That's Hu Ji Yong, the 4th prince of the Windfall Nation. Hu Ji-yong is quite talented as well. He's only slightly over 200 years old, but he's already a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Apart from mastering a triple trait Duke grade celestial method and a triple trait Duke grade divine ability, he has also mastered an assist type Duke grade celestial method and an assist type Duke grade divine ability. That's right. Perhaps his innate talent is slightly inferior to the two young city masters of Passage City. However, in terms of strength, the two young city masters of Passage City are inferior to him. This time, the fourth prince and the two young city lords of the Passage City have taken 3 of the 9 spots in the South Heaven combat. Duan Lingtian heard people whispering among themselves again. At the same time, he noticed the green-robed young man next to the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation. The green-robed young man sat next to the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation with a cold expression on his face. His eyes were closed as he rested his mind. It was as though everything around him had nothing to do with him. All of a sudden, in just a blink of an eye, Duan Lingtian discovered the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, who was standing next to the fourth prince of the supporting Fall Nation, had disappeared. It was as though the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation had vanished into thin air. In the next moment, Hu Lin-yi, the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, hovered in the air above the spectator seats as he looked around. I'm sure all of you know about the Southern Heaven combat. In that case, I won't say much about it. Now I'll briefly explain the rules of the Southern Heaven combat. There are 9 arenas in the Southern Heaven combat. Anyone can choose one of the arenas to challenge. As long as they win, they'll become the arena master. Everyone will be given 9 chances to challenge the arena master. However, if they're defeated in one of the arenas, they won't be able to challenge the arena master again. The last person standing in the arenas will be given 9 spots to enter the lower realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Apart from that, you're not allowed to use celestial talismans, kill or cripple your opponent, and attack after your opponent has admitted defeat. There are no other rules. You're free to do as you please. Hu Lin-yi, the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, explained the rules of the Southern Heaven combat, held by the imperial family of the supporting Fall Nation. The light beams from the 9 arenas are considered arenas. Once one leaves the light beams, it doesn't matter if he's chased out or if he leaves the light beams. After listening to Hu Lin-yi's explanation, Duan Lingtian shifted his gaze to the light beams from the 9 arenas. The light beams were divided into 9 colors. Each light beam had a diameter of more than 100 meters. That's a good rule. I'll wait until there's no one left to challenge me. I'll be able to easily obtain one of the spots to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up when he heard the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation's rules. Previously, he had been worried that the Southern Heaven combat would have to be fair and square to determine the strongest 9 people. But in this way, wouldn't the person that ascended the combat arena first and became the arena master be at a great disadvantage? Not only will he exhaust his celestial origin energy, but he might even be injured. Lu Guanglin, who was sitting next to Duan Lingtian, frowned slightly. He also felt the rules were unfair. Brother, is this your first time at the Southern Heaven combat? At this moment, a middle-aged man sitting behind Lu Guanglin asked with a grin. Yes. Lu Guanglin turned to look at the middle-aged man and nodded. There are 9 arenas in the Southern Heaven combat. After each battle, the arena master will be given enough time to recover his celestial origin energy. Moreover, the imperial family of the supporting Fall Nation will provide him with supreme pills that can help him recover his celestial origin energy. As for injuries, the imperial family of the supporting Fall Nation will provide him with pills according to the severity of his injuries. If he's severely injured, the imperial family of the supporting Fall Nation will also provide him with supreme pills. If he's severely injured, the imperial family of the supporting Fall Nation will also provide him with supreme pills. If he's severely injured, the imperial family of the supporting Fall Nation will also provide him with supreme pills. The middle-aged man said, once an overarching heavenly supreme celestial consumes a king-grade healing pill, as long as he's not crippled, he'll be able to recover in a short time. Even if he's severely injured, he'll be given enough time to recover to his peak condition. For this reason, there's no need to worry about being at a disadvantage in the Southern Heaven combat. In fact, some of the arena masters who enter the arena earlier will be able to improve themselves. Similar examples are too numerous to mention. The middle-aged man finished speaking. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Chapter 29:38. Now that the 7 people had entered the 7 arenas, it meant that the 7 arenas now had ring masters. These ring masters would stand on the arenas, waiting for others to challenge them. If what he said is true, the ring master who enters the arena first won't have to worry about the others exhausting his strength. Duan Lingtian thought to himself when he heard the words of the middle-aged man standing behind Lu Guanglin. Moreover, as the middle-aged man had said, the ring master who entered the arena first would have a chance to improve his strength as he fought with the challengers. Therefore, no matter who entered the arena first, there was no harm in it. Nevertheless, Duan Lingtian did not plan to enter the arena first. He decided to wait until the last one to enter the arena. This was the safest way. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. While Duan Lingtian was still deep in thought, 3 more figures entered the remaining 3 arenas. In just a blink of an eye, all 9 arenas had ring masters. Now that the 9 ring masters are in place, anyone who participates in the Southern Heaven combat can challenge them. If they win, they'll become the new ring master. The defeated ring master will no longer be able to enter the arena he has previously entered. However, he'll still have the opportunity to challenge other arenas he hasn't entered before. The Emperor of the supporting Fall Nation continued to say, I hereby announce the start of the Southern Heaven combat. The Southern Heaven combat had officially begun. As soon as the Emperor of the supporting Fall Nation finished speaking, 9 figures entered the 9 arenas one after another, preparing to battle the 9 ring masters. That's Hong Shi, the son of the city governor of Nanmen City. Although his cultivation base is only at the heaven stage overarching heavenly supreme celestial stage, his celestial methods and divine abilities are extraordinary. That's He Qian, the daughter of the patriarch of the He clan in North Origin City. Although she's a woman, she successfully broke through and became a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial when she was only 300 years old. Her celestial methods and divine abilities are extraordinary as well. She's also the most talented person in the He clan in the past 1,000 years. That's... Whispers entered Duan Lingtian's ears successively. Many people had recognized some of the ring masters and challengers on the 9 combat rings. These people were all disciples from prominent clans and were quite famous in the past. After a while, the 9 arenas began to appear. Boom, 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 bang, 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 bang. Above the 9 battle rings, most of the ring masters and challengers soared into the sky. They took out their immortal weapons and attacked. After their immortal elemental energy skyrocketed, multicolored energy bloomed in their hands. At the same time, they began to unleash all sorts of abilities. Amongst these 18 people, the strongest is still the daughter of the North Origin City's He clan's patriarch He Qian. After about 10 breaths, Duan Lingtian casually glanced at the 18 people who were fighting. His gaze finally fell on the only girl among the 18 people. This woman was the daughter of the Northern Origin City's He clan's patriarch He Qian. This daughter of the He family is really not inferior to a man. That's right. It's not easy for a woman to have such achievements in just 300 years. Among the 18 contestants, the strongest one is Miss He. He Qian was a delicate and pretty woman. She was dressed in a green robe and had a graceful figure. She attracted many people's attention as soon as she made her move. Naturally, this was only Duan Lingtian's opinion of her. In the eyes of others, He Qian was considered a rare beauty. However, Duan Lingtian had seen too many beauties. Moreover, he had been with her for a long time. Therefore, he was immune to these beauties. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The immortal artifact in He Qian's hand was a long whip, and after she poured her immortal essence energy into it, It would sometimes be as straight as a rod and sweep through an army with an oppressive might. At other times, it would sometimes be as soft as a snake, agile and graceful, and it would follow her like a shadow to coil around her opponent. In less than 20 breaths, He Qian's opponent, a heaven stage overarching heavenly supreme celestial, was struck by her whip and sent flying out of the light in the battle ring. He Qian had won. Based on He Qian's relaxed stance, it's obvious she hasn't used her full strength. If she had, I'm afraid her opponent wouldn't have lasted more than 5 breaths. Lu Guanglin's voice rang in Duan Lingtian's ears. Lu Guanglin's voice immediately attracted the approval of the surrounding people. Many people echoed his words. Indeed, Miss He didn't use her full strength. She looks so relaxed. How could she have used her full strength? Miss He probably doesn't even need to consume any pills to recover her celestial origin energy. My lord, what's wrong? In next to no time, Lu Guanglin noticed that something was slightly off with Duan Lingtian, and he saw Duan Lingtian staring fixedly at He Qian, who was on the combat arena with a dumbstruck gaze, as if he'd lost his soul. When Lu Guanglin's voice rang in the air, Duan Lingtian regained his senses. He smiled bitterly and said, Huaner's celestial weapon is also a whip. Although He Qian's whip was only a duke-grade celestial weapon, Huaner's whip was a king-grade celestial weapon. Although they were both long whips, Duan Lingtian could not help but think of Huan. He could not help but wonder how she was doing, if she was in danger, if she was safe, and so on. My lord, I'm sure Miss Huaner will be fine. Lu Guanglin finally understood why Duan Lingtian was so distracted. As it turned out, He Qian's celestial weapon was the same as Miss Huaner's whip. All right. Duan Lingtian nodded. At the same time, he shifted his attention back to the other 9 arenas. After He Qian defeated the ring master and became the new ring master, the remaining 8 arenas were filled with challengers. Naturally, there were also challengers who successfully defended their arenas and became the new ring master. Before the 3 arenas were filled with challengers, more and more challengers began to ascend to the other arenas. Only He Qian's arena remained empty. He Qian did not seem surprised by this. She sat down cross-legged and closed her eyes to rest. It seems like most people don't want to fight Miss He. After all, with her strength, it's very likely she'll be able to obtain a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Many people shared the same thought. Clan leader He, your daughter is as strong as any man. After her battle, no one dares to challenge her. An old man dressed in a white robe sighed as he looked at a middle-aged man dressed in luxurious robes standing next to him. His eyes were filled with envy as he looked at the middle-aged man dressed in luxurious robes. Although he had a grandson with good talent, he was much inferior compared to the daughter of the He family. Clan leader Chen, your grandson is not bad as well. He has defeated 2 opponents in a row and has become the 2nd ring master. The middle-aged man dressed in luxurious robes chuckled as he looked at a young man in another arena. He said modestly, Moreover, your grandson is more than 10 years younger than my daughter. I'm sure he'll surpass her in the future. Patriarchy, you're too modest. Just this useless grandson of mine will never be able to catch up to your daughter. As some of the disciples of the prestigious clans ascended the arena and became the new arena masters, similar flattering words rang out in the spectator seats, where a group of people from the prestigious clans had gathered. Time continued to pass. Soon after, the sky was filled with the glow of the setting sun. At this time, many overarching heavenly supreme celestials, who had signed up to participate in the Southern Heaven combat, had been defeated. I'm still not strong enough. I'll cultivate for the next few days, instead of going to the arenas. I agree. I'll be able to improve my celestial method if I meditate on it. I'll meditate on it for a while before I go to the arenas. Some of the people who had been defeated in the arena decided at this time that they would not be in a hurry to ascend the arena to challenge the arena masters in the next few days. On the first day, after He Qian defeated the first arena master, no one else challenged her in the arena that she occupied. Many people were speechless when they saw this. Even the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation could not help but frown. This was his first time encountering such a situation. In the past, Outstanding figures like He Qian would basically wait until the end to make a move. Yet this time, He Qian was the first to make a move and occupy a combat ring, causing no one to challenge that combat ring. A voice rang in Duan Ling Tian's ears. If a powerhouse like He Qian enters the arena tomorrow, I'm afraid there'll be another empty arena. If that's the case, the progress of the Southern Heaven combat will slow down. Perhaps it's time to change the rules of the Southern Heaven combat. Another person chimed in. It was as though this person could predict the future. As night fell, the Southern Heaven combat came to an end. The Emperor of the supporting Fall Nation announced loudly, "From tomorrow onward, there'll be a new rule in the Southern Heaven combat. As long as no one challenges the ring master of any arena, he or she will be granted a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm." As soon as the Emperor of the supporting Fall Nation made his announcement, more and more opponents appeared in He Qian's arena on the second day. However, most of them were just looking for trouble, and were defeated by He Qian one after another. On the second day, half an hour had passed, but no one had challenged He Qian. In just a blink of an eye, an hour had passed. An hour will pass in a dozen breaths. If no one challenges He Qian, she'll be granted a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. With He Qian's strength, she should be able to obtain a spot. It seems like she'll be granted a spot in advance. While the crowd was whispering to each other, an hour had passed. However, there was still no one who challenged He Qian. The Emperor of the supporting Fall Nation rose to his feet again and announced, He Qian will be given one of the spots to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Now that He Qian has left her arena, those who want to become the new ring master may go up now. Chapter 2939. Congratulations, Clan Leader He. Congratulations, Clan Leader He. Your daughter has obtained a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Once she leaves the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, she'll be able to join the 3 sects and 2 clans. She might even have a chance to cultivate in the Profound Nether Mansion. That's right. The 3 sects and 2 clans are Grade 7 sects and clans. The Profound Nether Mansion is one of the few Grade 6 celestial mansions in the Southern Heaven territory. The cultivation resources in the Profound Nether Mansion are beyond our imagination. If Miss He can cultivate in the Profound Nether Mansion, she'll definitely become a phoenix. After He Qian obtained a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, many people who were sitting next to the clan leader of He Clan began to congratulate him. Ever since his daughter obtained a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, the smile on the clan leader of He Clan's face did not fade. Although it was very dangerous to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, and not everyone had a chance of coming out alive, he was confident in his daughter's ability. He was certain his daughter would be able to obtain a fortuitous encounter in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm and come out alive. After He Qian obtained a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, some of the stronger people who had been waiting to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm could no longer hold themselves back. It did not take long before a few people, who were not much weaker than He Qian, entered the ring and defeated the ring masters to become the new ring masters. All of a sudden, the Southern Heaven combat became even more intense. Swoosh! At noon, a figure shot out from the spectator area, where the members of the imperial family were seated, and landed in one of the rings. Immediately, everyone's gazes gathered on that person. It's Huang Jialong, the 4th son of the city governor of Passage City. Huang Jialong is one of the 2 most outstanding sons of the city governor of Passage City. I didn't expect him to enter the ring so quickly. I think it's because He Qian entered the ring first that she obtained a spot. With his strength, it'll be easy for him to obtain a spot in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. That's only natural. He's stronger than He Qian. Moreover, he might even possess a king-grade celestial weapon. A king-grade celestial weapon? That can't be. Why wouldn't he? It's said that the city governor's estate in Passage City has 5 or 6 king-grade celestial weapons. Even if the city governor of Passage City doesn't give his son a king-grade celestial weapon, do you think he won't give his son a king-grade celestial weapon when he enters the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm? You're right. Huang Jialong, the 4th son of Huang Yuanfei, the city governor of Passage City, and the strongest person below celestial kings in the supporting Fall Nation. Because of Huang Jialong's status and strength, he attracted almost everyone's attention as soon as he entered the arena. Huang Jialong's opponent was a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. He smiled wryly when he saw Huang Jialong. Although he had comprehended all kinds of immortal methods and divine abilities, they were only heaven-grade immortal methods and divine abilities. Therefore, even though his cultivation was on par with Huang Jialong's, his immortal arts and divine abilities were much weaker. In terms of celestial weapons, he only had a Duke-grade celestial weapon, while Huang Jialong might have a King-grade celestial weapon. I admit defeat. Therefore, when the middle-aged man saw that Huang Jialong was going to challenge him, he took the initiative to admit defeat. After he left the arena, he began to look at the other 8 arenas. Since he had given up on this arena, it was only natural that he would choose another arena to challenge. Since he had admitted defeat, it meant that he was certain he would not be able to defeat Huang Jialong. Since that was the case, he might as well save his strength for the next battle. Huang Jialong was not surprised by his opponent's admission of defeat. He stood in the arena with his hands on his back and a calm expression on his face. A moment later, his gaze swept across the spectator stands. In the end, he closed his eyes and began to rest. It was as though he was waiting for an hour to pass. As expected of the son of City Governor Huang, his opponent admitted defeat as soon as he entered the arena. I'm afraid no one will challenge him after this. In the supporting Fall Nation, the only person who's an overarching heavenly supreme celestial who's capable of defeating Huang Jialong is the 4th prince. That's right. If the 4th prince doesn't enter the arena, I'm afraid it's meaningless for the others to enter the arena as well. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Huang Jialong stood in the arena for half an hour. However, no one dared to challenge him. Meanwhile, many people around Huang Yuanshan, the city governor of Passage City, began to praise Huang Jialong and flatter Huang Yuanshan. Huang Yuanshan merely nodded indifferently in response. He was neither servile nor overbearing. He was the complete opposite of the clan leader of the He clan. It seems like no one is going to challenge young Master Huang. Looks like there's one less place to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Many people were certain Huang Jialong would be the 2nd place to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm when the time limit was about to pass. At this moment, swoosh, Duan Lingtian appeared in Huang Jialong's arena in just a blink of an eye and faced Huang Jialong, who was resting with his eyes closed. As soon as Duan Lingtian appeared in the arena, Huang Jialong opened his eyes. A hint of surprise could be seen in his eyes as he looked at Duan Lingtian. He would not have been surprised if the 4th prince of the supporting Fall Nation's imperial family had challenged him. However, the person who challenged him was a young man whom he had never seen before. Moreover, when Duan Lingtian appeared in the arena, Huang Jialong discovered that Duan Lingtian was not even 100 years old. You want to challenge me? Huang Jialong looked at Duan Lingtian and asked in surprise, do you think someone who's not even 100 years old can defeat me? When Duan Lingtian entered the arena, many people had been looking at Duan Lingtian. Their eyes widened when they heard Huang Jialong's words. Then, they extended their divine consciousness from all directions and shrouded Duan Lingtian. He's really not even 100 years old. What's this young man thinking? He's not even 100 years old, but he wants to challenge young Master Huang? Is he looking for trouble? He's not even 100 years old. Is he an overarching heavenly supreme celestial? Although there's no need to check one's cultivation base during the registration process, one has to enter the arena to participate in the Southern Heaven combat. If one's cultivation base is below that of an overarching heavenly supreme celestial, it'll be considered a crime of deceiving the emperor. Deceiving the emperor is a crime punishable by death. When the crowd discovered that Duan Lingtian was not even 100 years old, they began to question whether Duan Lingtian's cultivation base was really that of an overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Due to the profound divine metal in Duan Lingtian's body, the crowd could not detect Duan Lingtian's cultivation base. However, the Devata realms were vast, and there was no lack of secret techniques to conceal one's cultivation base. Therefore, the crowd was not surprised. If you have a king-grade celestial weapon, bring it out. At the same time, use your strongest technique to attack me. Duan Lingtian looked at Huang Jialong calmly and said indifferently, I'll let you make 2 moves first. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't have a chance to attack me. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Huang Jialong was not the only one who was shocked. Apart from Lu Guanglin, everyone else was shocked as well. King-grade celestial weapon? Not only did this young man, but he even asked Huang Jialong to take out his king-grade celestial weapon and let Huang Jialong make 2 moves first. Otherwise, Huang Jialong would not have a chance to attack Duan Lingtian. Ha ha ha. Soon after, someone burst out laughing. He looked at Duan Lingtian disdainfully. Is this brat arrogant, or is there something wrong with his head? How arrogant? He's seeking death. He's just a brat who's not even 100 years old. Where does he get his confidence from? Ridiculous. What a joke. Many people could not help but laugh when they heard Duan Lingtian's words. They looked at Duan Lingtian as though they were looking at an idiot. However, Huang Jialong, the person in question, could not bring himself to laugh. When he looked at the purple-clad young man, he could see the indifference in the purple-clad young man's eyes. It was clear the purple-clad young man did not take him seriously at all. Generally speaking, people like this were either arrogant, had something wrong with their heads, or were truly strong. However, no matter how Huang Jialong looked at the purple-clad young man, he did not think the purple-clad young man was arrogant. Swoosh. At this moment, Duan Lingtian raised his hand, and an umbrella appeared in Duan Lingtian's hand. The umbrella that appeared out of thin air was one of the king-grade celestial weapons he had obtained from the little world left behind by Huaner's grandaunt Du Fei. The umbrella appeared in Duan Lingtian's hand. Before Duan Lingtian infused his true origin into it, a faint light shone on the umbrella. At the same time, it emitted a terrifying aura. A king-grade celestial weapon. It's a king-grade celestial weapon. As soon as Duan Lingtian took out the umbrella, the people who were laughing at Duan Lingtian immediately shut their mouths. At this moment, most of the people present had recognized the umbrella in Duan Lingtian's hand as a king-grade celestial weapon. Those who did not recognize the king-grade celestial weapon on their own finally realized the umbrella in Duan Lingtian's hand was a king-grade celestial weapon when they heard the exclamations from the crowd. Everyone was shocked when they saw this. The eyes of those who were mocking Duan Lingtian were filled with shock and disbelief when they looked at Duan Lingtian again. This arrogant brat, who was not even 100 years old and was full of nonsense, actually had a king-grade celestial weapon? I see. When Huang Jialong saw Duan Lingtian's king-grade celestial weapon, he was certain the purple-clad young man was not arrogant and had something wrong with his head. He was certain the purple-clad young man was strong enough to fight him. Naturally, that was all. Huang Jialong did not think the purple-clad young man was stronger than him, just because he said he would let him have 2 moves first. After all, it was impossible for the purple-clad young man to fully understand his strength. I understand. Chapter 2940. A bunch of idiots. When Lu Guanglin heard the group of people mocking Duan Lingtian, he could not help but scold them inwardly. He felt they were idiots, who said that someone who was not even 100 years old could not be stronger than Huang Jialong, the 4th son of the city governor of Passage City. Lu Guanglin's expression darkened immediately when he sensed a basic celestial duke probing him with his divine consciousness. He turned around and looked at the person who was probing him with his eyes. The person was none other than the middle-aged man sitting behind him. Brother, I'm sorry. I was just curious about your cultivation base. I didn't expect you to be a basic celestial duke just like me. The middle-aged man smiled awkwardly when he saw Lu Guanglin looking at him with a dark expression on his face. Initially, he thought Lu Guanglin would not be able to detect his divine consciousness, since Lu Guanglin's cultivation base was lower than his. He did not expect Lu Guanglin to be a basic celestial duke just like him. Curious, Lu Guanglin frowned. Earlier, Didn't you address the person beside you, who is currently on the stage, as Lord? I thought you're not as strong as him. Otherwise, why would you address him that way? The middle-aged man said bluntly, That's why I'm curious about your cultivation base. I didn't expect you to be a one basic celestial duke. A puzzled expression appeared on the middle-aged man's face when he reached the end of his sentence. Naturally, he did not think the purple-clad young man whom Lu Guanglin addressed as Lord was stronger than a one basic celestial duke. First of all, the purple-clad young man was not even 100 years old. Second of all, if the purple-clad young man was stronger than a one basic celestial duke, he would not be allowed to participate in the Southern Heaven combat. He would be punished by the Emperor of the supporting Fall Nation for causing trouble. Who said my lord's cultivation base has to be higher than mine? Lu Guanglin glanced at the middle-aged man indifferently before he turned around and ignored him. In the combat ring, when Huang Jialong saw Duan Lingtian taking out a king-grade celestial weapon, he also took out his own king-grade celestial weapon. It was a 7-foot-long spear. The long spear was crimson with a mysterious light swirling around it. It looked as though flames were burning on it. Is that the king-grade celestial weapon from the city governor's estate in Passage City, the Fire Cloud Spear? I didn't expect the city governor of Passage City to give this king-grade celestial weapon to his fourth son. It seems like he really dotes on him. That's right. This king-grade celestial weapon is definitely one of the top 3 king-grade celestial weapons in the city governor's estate. It's not strange for the young governor of Passage City to possess a king-grade celestial weapon. However, where did this purple-clad young man, who's not even 100 years old, come from? He has a king-grade celestial artifact as well. I've never seen him before. Perhaps he's the descendant of some hidden expert. When the crowd saw Huang Jialong had also taken out his king-grade celestial weapon, a commotion broke out among the crowd. Even the people in the other 8 arenas stopped fighting, as though they had come to an agreement to stop fighting. All of them were staring at the arenas where Duan Lingtian and Huang Jialong were. Many people whispered among themselves as they speculated about Duan Lingtian's identity. After Duan Lingtian took out his king-grade celestial weapon, no one dared to say he was crazy. However, many people still thought he was being arrogant. Even if Duan Lingtian had a king-grade celestial weapon, so did the young governor of Passage City. Moreover, the young governor of Passage City was a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Moreover, he had mastered 2 triple-trait duke-grade celestial methods and divine abilities. It was said that he had mastered assist-type duke-grade celestial methods as well. Moreover, he had mastered assist-type duke-grade divine abilities as well. At this moment, Huang Jialong and Duan Lingtian stood opposite each other with their swords drawn. At this moment, a graceful and elegant figure appeared in the imperial family's spectator area. Beloved, why are you only here now? The emperor of the supporting Fall Nation smiled faintly when he saw the newcomer. At the same time, he gestured for her to sit in the empty seat next to him. And the empty seat today was obviously prepared for this beautiful woman. Greetings, Concubine Lan. Greetings, Concubine Lan. With the arrival of this elegant and beautiful woman, everyone in the royal family's spectator stands, including the 4th prince, bowed to her one after another. After that, they shifted their attention to Duan Lingtian and Huang Jialong in unison. Your Majesty, please forgive me. My elder brother came to the palace to look for me this morning. The beautiful woman was none other than the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation's favorite concubine, Concubine Lan. With the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation's favor, she had become extremely powerful in the harem. Your elder brother? Is it because of Howard again? The emperor of the supporting Fall Nation asked. Yes. The beautiful woman nodded. At the same time, tears streamed down her face as though she had thought of something. This morning, my elder brother couldn't hold it in any longer, and used our clan's blood guide secret technique to reveal the appearance of Howard's murderer. However, from now on, my elder brother's cultivation base won't be able to improve anymore. The emperor of the supporting Fall Nation could not help but feel sorry for her when he saw how pitiful she looked. My concubine, please restrain your grief. Since we know the appearance of the murderer, It won't be difficult to find him, as long as he's still in the supporting Fall Nation. The emperor of the supporting Fall Nation patted his beautiful wife's hand as he looked at the two people who were on the verge of a fight. He said, "When the Southern Heaven combat ends today, ask your elder brother to draw a portrait of the murderer. I'll ask my subordinates to make copies of it and distribute it to everyone to find the murderer. How, is also my nephew. I will avenge him," the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation said in a low voice. "Thank you, your majesty." The beautiful woman thanked the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation as she wiped away the tears on her face with a smile. She followed the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation's gaze and looked at the battle in the arena. "Isn't that the fourth son of City Governor Huang from Passage City?" The beautiful woman was surprised when she saw Huang Jialong. "He's fighting so early." Not only that, but he's also facing an interesting opponent. His opponent isn't even 100 years old, but he possesses a king-grade celestial weapon. I wonder which reclusive old monster he's from? The emperor of the supporting Fall Nation said as he sized up Duan Lingtian, who was fighting in the arena with interest. He did not believe a young man, who possessed a king-grade celestial weapon, who was not even 100 years old, did not come from a powerful background. He's not even 100 years old, but he possesses a king-grade celestial weapon? Concubine Lan was shocked when she heard the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation's words. She instinctively shifted her gaze from Huang Jialong to Huang Jialong's opponent. Concubine Lan's eyes widened when she saw Huang Jialong's opponent. This was because she recognized this person. To be more precise, it was this person whom she had just met this morning, when her elder brother had cast their clan's unique blood-guiding secret technique. Her clan was not considered a powerful clan in the supporting Fall Nation. However, they had a secret technique, called the blood-guiding secret technique, that was rarely used. The blood-guide mystic art could detect the appearance of the murderer, who had killed a close relative for a certain price. The close relatives mentioned here were those of parents and children. If two or more children died at the same time, even if one used the blood-guiding secret technique, one would only be able to see the murderer's appearance. After using the blood-guiding secret technique, one's cultivation base would be stagnant for the rest of one's life. It could be said that one had to sacrifice one's future. In Concubine Lan's memory, her elder brother was only the third person to use the blood-guiding secret technique in the thousands of years of their clan's history. He killed Hauer. Concubine Lan's heart skipped a beat. She quickly crushed a communication celestial talisman and sent a message to her elder brother, who had just left the palace. She needed her elder brother's confirmation. Apart from that, she had another question in her mind. Since the purple-clad young man had participated in the Southern Heaven combat, it meant he was only an overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Even if he could kill her nephew, he would not be able to kill the three-talent celestial duke, who was with her nephew. Perhaps, he was the one who killed Hauer's nephew. With this thought in mind, Concubine Lan's doubts vanished. Since the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation's attention was focused on the battle, he did not notice Concubine Lan's strange behavior. Concubine Lan did not lose her temper immediately. Instead, she suppressed her anger and waited for her elder brother's arrival. "I'd like to see how strong you are to boast so shamelessly," Huang Jialong said indifferently as he looked at Duan Lingtian calmly. As soon as he finished speaking, he shot toward Duan Lingtian at lightning speed. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Huang Jialong moved like the wind. His celestial origin energy transformed into golden rays of light that swirled around him like dragons as he shot toward Duan Lingtian. At the same time, his king-grade celestial weapon, the 7-foot-long spear, shot out toward Duan Lingtian, as though it contained the power of lightning. Around the 7-foot-long spear that he shot out, there were also golden rays of light that looked like swimming dragons. Faint red lightning bolts could be seen flashing at the tip of the spear. Faced with an opponent who had a king-grade celestial weapon, Huang Jialong did not hold back at all. As the saying went, even a lion would use all its strength to hunt a rabbit. He did not dare to be careless just because his opponent was not even 100 years old. After all, his opponent was someone who had a king-grade celestial weapon. Moreover, based on Huang Jialong's words, it was clear Huang Jialong was confident in his abilities. I said I'll let you have 2 moves first, so I'll let you have 2 moves first. If you can't break through my defenses with 2 moves, it'll be my turn to attack. If I can't defeat you with 1 move, I'll consider myself the loser. Duanling Tian said indifferently as he let go of the umbrella in his hand in the face of Huang Jialong's menacing aura. As soon as he finished speaking, Duanling Tian's celestial origin energy, which was at the level of a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial, rose from his body and transformed into the silhouette of a golden Buddha. At the same time, purple chi swirled around the silhouette of the golden Buddha. Chapter 2941. How arrogant. Based on his words, it seems like he wants to defeat the young master of Passage City with a single move. He must be dreaming. Upon hearing Duanling Tian's words, most people thought Duanling Tian was extremely arrogant. Although Huang Jialong, a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial, was not the strongest among the overarching heavenly supreme celestials in the supporting Fall Nation, he was definitely one of the top 3 strongest overarching heavenly supreme celestials. However, this purple-clad young man, who was not even 100 years old, dared to say he wanted to defeat Huang Jialong with a single move? How arrogant. At this moment, even the expressionless Huang Yuanfei, the city governor of Passage City, had a disdainful expression on his face when he looked at Duanling Tian. He knew very well how strong his son was. Even the strongest overarching heavenly supreme celestial in the supporting Fall Nation, the 4th prince of the supporting Fall Nation, would not be able to defeat his son in less than 10 moves. This kid is really arrogant enough. The elementary devouring tactic. Huang Yuanfei's youngest son, Huang Jiachao, who was standing next to him, shook his head and chuckled. Similarly, he did not think Duanling Tian was capable of defeating his 4th brother with a single move. In the combat ring, swoosh, 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 as Duanling Tian cast the elementary devouring tactic to absorb the heaven and earth spirit energy in the surroundings, the golden Buddha silhouettes and purple celestial origin energy on his body grew stronger. Although the elementary devouring tactic was extremely powerful and could easily absorb the heaven and earth spirit energy in the mundane realms, the heaven and earth spirit energy in the mundane realms were not the same. However, the heaven and earth spirit energy in the Devata realms could not be compared to the heaven and earth spirit energy in the mundane realms. This was especially true for the heaven and earth spirit energy in the imperial palace of the supporting Fall Nation. Even if Duanling Tian cast the elementary devouring tactic with all his might, he could not absorb much of the heaven and earth spirit energy. After all, the elementary devouring tactic could only be considered as an assist-type heaven-grade divine ability in the Devata realms. Although Duanling Tian had comprehended the elementary devouring tactic to its limit, it could not compare to an assist-type Duke-grade divine ability that had been comprehended to its limit. The illusory figure of the golden Buddha, which was shrouded in purple gas, held the illusory figure of the umbrella that Duanling Tian had thrown out. It formed an absolute defense around Duanling Tian. At the same time, Huang Jialong's attack arrived. Whoosh! Huang Jialong struck out with his spear, causing the wind and clouds to tremble. Ripples appeared in the air, clearly visible to the naked eye. In addition, the originally faint scarlet lightning at the tip of the spear in his hand condensed and expanded in an instant and shot out with a whistling sound. At the same time, the dragon-like golden light surrounding the spear suddenly expanded when the tip of the spear touched the golden Buddha shadow on the surface of Duanling Tian's body. In the end, the golden light whizzed out and gathered at the tip of the spear. Then it fused with the scarlet lightning. Bang! As the golden light and the scarlet lightning gathered together, the golden light suddenly shrank. After converging into a single point, it suddenly exploded. In just a blink of an eye, a terrifying energy began to wreak havoc on Duanling Tian's golden Buddha silhouette. More energy began to attack the golden Buddha silhouette like a ferocious beast. Boom! Rumble! Under the terrifying impact, the golden Buddha shadow swayed slightly. The purple gas around it had also dimmed a lot. It seemed as though it would collapse at any moment. It's difficult to block his attack if I control my celestial origin energy to the level of a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Huang Jialong's strength is rare even among peak overarching heavenly supreme celestials. Moreover, my celestial methods, divine abilities, and king-grade celestial weapons don't have any advantage over him. For this reason, I can only control my celestial origin energy to the level of a one basic celestial duke to block his attack. Duan Lingtian's expression turned grim when he sensed the impact of Huang Jialong's attack. At the same time, he struggled to control his celestial origin energy. Currently, his celestial origin energy was comparable to a one basic celestial duke. It was not difficult for him to control his celestial origin energy to the level of a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. However, there was nothing he could do. If he exposed his celestial origin energy to the level of a celestial duke, he would definitely be kicked out of the battle arena. Moreover, he might even infuriate the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation. If the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation was angered, millions of corpses would fall, and blood would flow for thousands of miles. Although he was confident he could kill the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, if he used the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon again, he did not want to waste it unless it was absolutely necessary. After all, he only had 2 chances left to use the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon. Every time he used it, he would have 1 less chance. Boom, 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 boom. Under everyone's watchful eyes, the energy from Huang Jialong's spear continued to attack Duan Lingtian's protective barrier. Most people held their breaths at this moment. What a strong defense! Although the golden Buddha silhouette on Duan Lingtian's body trembled violently, as though it would shatter at any moment, many people were still shocked by the fact that it could hold on for so long. After a few breaths, Duan Lingtian's defensive barrier finally stopped Huang Jialong's attack. How's this possible? An expression of shock appeared on Huang Jialong's face when he saw that his attack had failed to break through Duan Lingtian's defense. Even Hu Jiyong, the 4th prince of the supporting Fall Nation, who was sitting next to the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, widened his eyes in shock. Although he was confident he could defeat Huang Jialong, he did not have the ability to do so. He was confident he could defeat Huang Jialong, but he did not have the ability to defend himself against Huang Jialong's attack. One more move. The crowd who were in a daze from the shock only regained their senses when they heard Duan Lingtian's indifferent voice. Monster! Monster! This purple-clad young man who's not even 100 years old has such a terrifying defense. At this moment, nobody doubted Duan Lingtian's strength anymore. In fact, they thought it would not be difficult for Duan Lingtian to defeat Huang Jialong naturally. They did not believe Duan Lingtian could defeat Huang Jialong with just 1 move. Duan Lingtian's defense was monstrous, but it did not mean his offense was monstrous as well. How should I address you? Huang Jialong inhaled sharply. When he looked at Duan Lingtian again, a hint of respect could be seen in his eyes. He had never seen such a young powerhouse in his life. Duan Lingtian was not even 100 years old, but he was already so powerful. Moreover, apart from the assist-type divine abilities, the celestial methods and divine abilities that Duan Lingtian had cast were all Duke-grade celestial methods and divine abilities. Duan Lingtian replied indifferently. Brother Duan, your defense alone is enough to prove you're stronger than me. As for my next move, I don't plan to make a move since I'm not confident I'll be able to break through your defense. Huang Jialong said. In that case, I'll defend while you attack. What do you think? Although Huang Jialong did not use his full strength earlier, he was still not confident he could break through Duan Lingtian's defense, even if he used 100% of his strength. In that case, it would be better for him to give up on attacking. You can use offense as defense as well. Like I said earlier, if I can't defeat you with 1 move, I'll admit defeat. Duan Lingtian looked at Huang Jialong calmly. At some point, he had already put away his umbrella. This scene caused even more people to be puzzled. Why did he put his king-grade celestial weapon away? Is he planning to attack without using his king-grade celestial weapon? It's obvious his king-grade celestial weapon is a defensive king-grade celestial weapon. Such a king-grade celestial weapon might not be as powerful as an offensive duke-grade celestial weapon. Perhaps he's planning to exchange it for a king-grade celestial weapon. You're right. He managed to block young Master Huang's attack because of his defensive king-grade celestial weapon. At this moment, many people thought Duan Lingtian was planning to exchange his king-grade celestial weapon for a king-grade celestial weapon. However, when another rod appeared in Duan Lingtian's hand, some of them gasped in shock. Heavens! Another king-grade celestial weapon! Who's this young man called Duan Lingtian? Not only is he strong, but he even has 2 king-grade celestial weapons. His background is definitely not simple. When Duan Lingtian took out a rod that was shrouded in a profound light and was not infused with his celestial origin energy, many people were shocked. King-grade celestial weapon? Another king-grade celestial weapon? Many people were shocked when they saw Duan Lingtian's rod was a king-grade celestial weapon. Although they had guessed Duan Lingtian was planning to exchange his king-grade celestial weapon for a king-grade celestial weapon, they had assumed Duan Lingtian was planning to exchange it for an offensive king-grade celestial weapon. They did not expect Duan Lingtian to exchange his king-grade celestial weapon for another king-grade celestial weapon. This young man is definitely not an ordinary sectless cultivator. The emperor of the supporting Fall Nation muttered to himself as he looked at the purple-clad young man with a solemn expression on his face. 2 king-grade celestial weapons? Concubine Lan, who was sitting next to the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, had an extremely unsightly expression on her face. This little bastard actually has 2 king-grade celestial weapons? When she discovered Duan Lingtian was the murderer of her nephew, she could not wait to kill Duan Lingtian to avenge her nephew. When she discovered Duan Lingtian's umbrella was a king-grade celestial weapon, she knew it would not be easy to avenge her nephew. How could someone with a king-grade celestial weapon be an ordinary person? However, now that Duan Lingtian had taken out another king-grade celestial weapon, she could not help but feel a sense of despair. If I participate in the revenge, won't the person behind him kill me as well after he dies? Moreover, how could such a person not have the protection of a powerhouse? With this thought in mind, Concubine Lan sent another communication celestial talisman to her elder brother, who was rushing over. Brother Duan, I really have to hand it to you. 2 king-grade celestial weapons? Who are you? Huang Jialong smiled wryly when he saw Duan Lingtian taking out the 2nd king-grade celestial weapon. It seemed like Duan Lingtian was not bluffing when he said he could defeat Huang Jialong with a single move. Chapter 2942. I'll give you 3 breaths to prepare yourself. Duan Lingtian did not respond to Huang Jialong's question. Instead, he gave Huang Jialong time to prepare himself. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, the golden Buddha silhouette that was fading away began to solidify again as he continued to infuse his celestial origin energy into it. After this attack, the celestial origin energy and soul enhancement granted by the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon will be almost depleted. However, the battle between me and Huang Jialong is enough to deter all the overarching heavenly supreme celestials from challenging me again. The reason Duan Lingtian had said he would let Huang Jialong make 2 moves and defeat him in 1 move was because he wanted to intimidate the other overarching heavenly supreme celestials before he exhausted the energy granted by the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon. Even if his strength was depleted to a certain extent, he was not worried that he would not be able to obtain a spot to enter the southern heaven ancient realm. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Huang Jialong's expression turned even more solemn. At the same time, he brandished his king-grade celestial weapon, the spear in his hand. A golden light that resembled a dragon wrapped around the spear and shot toward his body. A few moments later, Huang Jialong's entire body was shrouded by the golden light, as though a golden eggshell had enveloped him. In the next moment, tiny red lightning bolts appeared around the golden eggshell, causing the eggshell to solidify. At this moment, Huang Jialong was going all out. He was prepared to defend himself with all his might and counterattack to counter Duan Lingtian's attack. At this moment, the time of 3 breaths had passed. Bang! A loud noise rang in the air as Duan Lingtian bent his legs and shook the ground. His celestial origin energy also caused cracks to appear on the ground. At the same time, Duan Lingtian flew out and charged toward Huang Jialong. Golden light shone in the sky as purple energy surged. The golden Buddha silhouette followed closely behind Huang Jialong. At the same time, the vortex in the golden Buddha silhouette continued to spin, devouring the heaven and earth spirit energy in the surroundings. Swoosh! Swoosh! The staff in Duan Lingtian's hand shook, and suddenly, a bright purple gold light burst out from it, mixing with the staff's own profound light, bright and dazzling. At the same time, Duan Lingtian's golden Buddha shadow also moved, condensing a long rod out of thin air in his hand. In the next moment, the staff in Duan Lingtian's hand rose and fell. Boom! Rumble! As the staff in Duan Lingtian's hand rose and fell, the staff condensed by the purple gold light in the golden Buddha's hand also rose and fell, causing the entire void to tremble. Good. Although Duan Lingtian's attack was fierce and seemingly invincible, Huang Jialong was not the slightest bit afraid. The spear in his hand burst forth and resolutely met Duan Lingtian's attack. Whoosh! 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 Huang Jialong no longer used offensive celestial methods, divine abilities, and assistive divine abilities like he did when he attacked Duan Lingtian earlier. Now he was using an assistive celestial method that he had comprehended. This assistive celestial method was also a Duke-grade celestial method. Although he had not completely mastered it, it was still powerful. Naturally, the power he was referring to was not the actual power. It was well known that assistive celestial methods could not increase one's strength. Most of them relied on the celestial origin energy. At this moment, Huang Jialong's spear trembled, and a rain of spears appeared in front of him. The rain of spears shot toward Duan Lingtian like a rain of arrows. It was as though the rain of spears was about to melt everything, including Duan Lingtian. Boom! Rumble! Suddenly, Duan Lingtian's expression did not change in the face of Huang Jialong's attack. The long rod in his hand continued to vibrate violently in the air. The golden Buddha silhouette that rose from Duan Lingtian's body was also moving in sync with Duan Lingtian's movements. Every time the rod rose and fell, it seemed as though heaven and earth would tremble under the might of the rod. A purplish gold light shone on Duan Lingtian's long rod, resembling a purple dragon and a golden dragon. Let's end this. As soon as Duan Lingtian's long rod collided with Huang Jialong's attack, he slightly increased the strength of his long rod. His celestial origin energy surged again, and its strength was comparable to that of a one basic celestial duke. With this increase in strength, Duan Lingtian's attack became even stronger. Bang! When Duan Lingtian's long rod collided with Huang Jialong's long rod, it was as though Mars had collided with Earth. The void seemed to be on the verge of shattering. An earth-shattering explosion rang in the air. The long rod in Duan Lingtian's hand continued to shine brightly. Even the golden Buddha silhouette that rose from his body seemed to grow stronger as the battle progressed. On the other hand, Huang Jialong's spear rain was instantly destroyed by Duan Lingtian's rod. It was as though the stars were destroyed by the moon. Apart from that, Huang Jialong's defense crumbled like a piece of paper under Duan Lingtian's attack. Boom! 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 Terrifying sounds of air exploding rang out and spread out. There were also waves of rolling air waves that were like a flood breaking through a dam. Poof! Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Huang Jialong was engulfed by the rolling waves of qi. In an instant, he was sent flying out of the light pillar above the fighting ring like an arrow leaving the bow. Swoosh! After Huang Jialong was sent flying out of the light pillar, a figure appeared out of thin air. It was none other than Huang Jialong's father, Huang Yuanfei, the city governor of Passage City. Huang Yuanfei, the city governor of Passage City, looked at Duan Lingtian meaningfully before he said, "Thank you for showing mercy, little brother Duan." As a 10 Directions celestial duke, although he could not see that Duan Lingtian had concealed his strength, he knew he was a one basic celestial duke. However, he could see that Duan Lingtian had withdrawn most of his strength at the very last moment. Otherwise his son would have died. My son is already a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial, and his celestial methods and divine abilities are extraordinary. However, he still ended up like this. Who is he? Huang Yuanfei, the city governor of Passage City, looked at Duan Lingtian in shock. Whoosh! At the same time, an uproar broke out among the crowd. Many of them were so shocked that they rose to their feet. Heavens! Huang Jialong was defeated by him with just one move. The strength of his attack is close to that of a one basic celestial duke, who has mastered the same celestial method and divine ability. He's too powerful. I didn't expect such a monstrous genius to exist in the supporting Fall Nation. Even the fourth prince, who's widely acknowledged as the strongest person below celestial dukes in the supporting Fall Nation, is no match for him. He's not even 100 years old, but he possesses 2 king-grade celestial weapons. Moreover, he's so strong. His background must be extraordinary. Even if he's just a sectless cultivator, he must have a powerful backer. Apart from Lu Guanglin, many one basic celestial dukes were shocked by Duan Lingtian's defeat of Huang Jialong with just a single move. These one basic celestial dukes did not master any powerful celestial methods or divine abilities. Therefore, they were certain their attacks were not as powerful as Duan Lingtian's attack. I'm not as good as him. Hu Jiyong, the fourth prince of the supporting Fall Nation, sighed. A monster. Hu Linyi's eyes lit up as he looked at Duan Lingtian. It's easy for such a monstrous genius to leave the lower realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm alive. Since he's participating in the Southern Heaven combat, it means he intends to join one of the 3 sects and 2 clans. He must be a descendant of a powerful sectless cultivator who wants him to join one of the 3 sects and 2 clans. If such a monstrous genius leaves the supporting Fall Nation and joins one of the 3 sects and 2 clans, I'll definitely be rewarded handsomely. When Hu Linyi thought about this, he looked at Duan Lingtian as though he was looking at a priceless treasure. Meanwhile, in another place, what? He defeated Huang Jialong, the young master of Passage City, with just a single move. Huang Jialong is widely acknowledged as the strongest overarching heavenly supreme celestial in the supporting Fall Nation, right? When the middle-aged man who was about to attend the Southern Heaven combat received the 3rd communication celestial talisman from his sister, Imperial Concubine Lan, his expression changed drastically. Brother, I'm sorry I can't avenge Hao. Even if I tell His Majesty that he killed Hao, I'm afraid His Majesty won't avenge Hao. With Duan Lingtian's background, I'm afraid even His Majesty has to be wary of him. Moreover, His Majesty treats Duan Lingtian like a treasure. I'm sure Duan Lingtian will benefit His Majesty greatly after he leaves the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Brother, just give up. Upon hearing Imperial Concubine Lan's words, the middle-aged man who was the father of the ugly young man who was killed by Duan Lingtian outside the capital of the supporting Fall Nation trembled violently. No, this is impossible. I can't give up. I can't give up. I've given up on my cultivation to find Hao's murderer. He must die. He must die. The middle-aged man muttered to himself in a frenzy. His eyes were bloodshot, as the flames of hatred burned fiercely in them. In the venue of the Southern Heaven combat, after Duan Lingtian defeated Huang Jialong with just a single move, the people in the other 8 arenas looked at Duan Lingtian for a long time before they continued to duel each other. In the next hour, just as Duan Lingtian had expected, no one dared to challenge him. He had successfully obtained a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. The 3 sects and 2 clans in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. How exciting! Duan Lingtian muttered to himself after he returned to the spectator area. He ignored the burning gazes that were directed at him from all directions. Please wait for a moment. Once the content is updated, you will have to refresh the page to get the latest update. NT. Chapter 2943. After Duan Lingtian won the 2nd place from the supporting Fall Nation to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, the Southern Heaven combat on the 2nd day became even more intense. Even Huang Jiaqiao, the fifth son of the city governor of Passage City, managed to win a place in the battle ring. Although Huang Jiachao was not as strong as Huang Jialong, he was not an ordinary overarching heavenly supreme celestial. On the second day of the Southern Heaven combat, apart from Duan Lingtian and Huang Jiachao, there was another person who won a place to enter the Southern Heaven ancient realm. Similar to Duan Lingtian, this person was a nobody. Most importantly, she was a beautiful woman. She was even more dazzling than He Qian, the young miss of the He clan. Naturally, in Duan Lingtian's opinion, the woman was just average. Not to mention Huan he was still inferior to his two wives, Kuer Li Fei, and his confidant Feng Tianwu, a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial, who possesses a king-grade celestial weapon. Moreover, nobody seems to recognize her. It's obvious she's not from the supporting Fall Nation, or a sectless cultivator, with an extraordinary background. Duan Lingtian speculated inwardly, as he watched the woman descending from the combat ring, and making her way to the spectator seats, after obtaining a spot to enter the Southern Heaven ancient realm. When the woman landed on the spectator seat, everyone, including Duan Lingtian, saw an old woman sitting next to her. Initially, no one paid any attention to the old woman. The old woman, who was sitting next to the young woman, immediately attracted the attention of many people when they saw her winning a spot to enter the Southern Heaven ancient realm from the supporting Fall Nation. A one basic celestial king? When the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation extended his divine consciousness and probed the old woman's cultivation base, he immediately discovered the old woman's cultivation base. The old woman was a one basic celestial king, since the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation was a two-formed celestial king. The old woman only frowned slightly when she sensed his divine consciousness. She did not dare to show her displeasure. The emperor of the supporting Fall Nation was not only a two-formed celestial king, but his battle prowess was comparable to a three-talent celestial king. Night fell unknowingly. Meanwhile, the day's South Heaven combat came to an end. With this, the Southern Heaven combat on the second day of the Southern Heaven combat had determined the three participants who would enter the Southern Heaven ancient realm. In addition to the Southern Heaven combat the day before, there were 4 participants in total. Currently, there were only 5 spots left for the supporting Fall Nation to enter the Southern Heaven ancient realm. Young Master Duan, since you've obtained a spot to enter the Southern Heaven ancient realm, as a sectless cultivator, you'll be allowed to cultivate in the Origin Gathering Hall of the supporting Fall Nation's Imperial Palace until you leave for the Southern Heaven ancient realm. As soon as the Southern Heaven combat ended, a eunuch approached Duan Lingtian, under the orders of the Emperor of the supporting Fall Nation. Origin Gathering Hall? Although Duan Lingtian had stayed in the Imperial Palace the night before, he had only been given a temporary residence. Although this was his first time hearing about the Origin Congregation Pill in the supporting Fall Nation's Imperial Palace, he could tell it was a good place to cultivate. Young Master Duan, are you not from the supporting Fall Nation? The eunuch was taken aback by Duan Lingtian's question. Why do you ask? Duan Lingtian was curious. Did everyone in the supporting Fall Nation know about the Origin Gathering Hall? The Origin Gathering Hall is the best cultivation place in the supporting Fall Nation apart from the cultivation place of the direct descendants of the imperial family. There are various Origin Gathering formations in the Origin Gathering Hall that connect the direct descendants of the imperial family to the only mediocre celestial crystal vein in the supporting Fall Nation. The eunuch said, almost everyone in the supporting Fall Nation knows about the Origin Gathering Hall. As expected, Duan Lingtian's heart skipped a beat. He knew he had guessed correctly. After a while, he brought Lu Guanglin to the Origin Gathering Hall in the Imperial Palace of the supporting Fall Nation. The Elemental Gathering Palace was a palace, and this palace had a vast backyard. And within the backyard, there were many courtyards. Although the courtyards were small, they were well equipped. Apart from 2 rooms, there was a large courtyard with flowers and plants, and a small pond in the courtyard. Apart from that, there was a eunuch and a palace maid standing in front of each courtyard. This is young Master Duan. After the eunuch who brought Duan Lingtian overhanded Duan Lingtian over to a eunuch and a palace made at the entrance of a courtyard. He bid farewell and left. At the same time, Duan Lingtian was led into the courtyard by the palace maid. Upon hearing the palace maid's words, Duan Lingtian came to a realization. The palace maid was in charge of the matters in the courtyard, while the eunuch was in charge of running errands for the people living in the courtyard. Not long after they entered the courtyard, Duan Lingtian sent the palace maid away. At the same time, he greeted Lu Guanglin and said, "Guanglin, I'm going to cultivate for a few days to see if I can break through the bottleneck in one go. If there's nothing important, don't let anyone disturb me." "Yes, my lord." Lu Guanglin responded respectfully to Duan Lingtian's instructions. After Duan Lingtian entered the room, he sat cross-legged on the lawn in the courtyard and closed his eyes to cultivate. As he cultivated, he stood guard for Duan Lingtian. Naturally, the cultivation environment in the courtyard was not any worse than in the room. After Duan Lingtian entered the room, he casually set up a few simple formations to isolate the heaven and earth spirit energy. Then, he took out the divine crystal that Huaner had left behind for him. Dense heaven and earth spirit energy surged out of the divine crystal and filled the room in just a blink of an eye. It was the best cultivation environment for Duan Lingtian. Although the cultivation environment in the Origin Gathering Hall of the Supporting Fall Nations Imperial Palace was good, it was far inferior to the cultivation environment provided by the divine crystal for Duan Lingtian. Since Duan Lingtian had obtained a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, he did not plan to watch the rest of the Southern Heaven combat. The Southern Heaven combat lasted until the 5th day before it finally came to an end. On the 3rd day of the Southern Heaven combat, the 4th prince of the Supporting Fall Nations imperial family obtained a spot. Apart from that, a disciple from one of the Supporting Fall Nations sects obtained a spot as well. On the 4th day, Huang Jialong recovered from his injuries and obtained a spot. On the 5th day, the last 2 spots were finally decided. With that, the Southern Heaven combat officially came to an end. Although the Southern Heaven combat had ended, the people in the Supporting Fall Nation were still discussing the 9 people who obtained a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Among them, there were even more people discussing Duan Lingtian. After all, Duan Lingtian's performance was so dazzling that he completely overshadowed the other 8 people in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Even Hu Jiyong, the 4th prince of the Supporting Fall Nation, was overshadowed by Duan Lingtian. Even with Duan Lingtian's presence, Huang Jialong, the young master of Passage City, is still ranked in the top 3 among the 9 people who obtained a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. However, there's still a huge gap between his strength and Duan Lingtian's. Huang Jialong's attack was so powerful that it could not even penetrate Duan Lingtian's defense. Only those who were present at the battle could feel how terrifying Duan Lingtian is. That's right. I was there at the battle. Duan Lingtian's defense is indeed terrifying. Not only that, but his attack is also terrifying. He defeated Huang Jialong with just a strike from his staff. Duan Lingtian is too monstrous. I wonder where he came from. He has 2 king-grade celestial weapons. It's obvious he's not an ordinary person. Although the day Duan Lingtian defeated Huang Jialong had passed, 60 to 70% of the people in the Supporting Fall Nation's capital were still talking about Duan Lingtian. After all, Duan Lingtian was too dazzling. Naturally, there were also some people who talked about Duan Lingtian. For example, Hu Jiyong, the 4th prince of the Supporting Fall Nation, was also a dazzling figure. Although he was overshadowed by Duan Lingtian, he was still far ahead of the others. Then there was Huang Jialong, the young master of Passage City. Although he was defeated by Duan Lingtian, nobody thought it was because he was weak. Instead, they thought it was because Duan Lingtian was too strong. There was also Huang Jialong's younger brother, Huang Jiachao. Apart from Duan Lingtian, Hu Jiyong and Huang Jialong, his strength was only inferior to 2 other people. One of them was He Qian, the young miss of the He clan, and the other was a woman who had obtained a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm from the Supporting Fall Nation. The woman's name was Hu Fian. That woman named Hu Fian is not only prettier than the daughter of the He family, But her strength seems to be even stronger than the daughter of the He family, He Qian. Just like Duan Lingtian, Hu Fian appeared out of nowhere. I've never heard of her before. I heard that the old woman next to her is a celestial king. In a restaurant in the capital of the supporting Fall nation, Duan Lingtian, who had just come out of closed-door cultivation and left the palace, was sitting in a corner of the restaurant with Lu Guanglin. A celestial king? Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow. His first impression of the old woman next to Hu Fian was that she was not a simple person. He did not expect the old woman to be a celestial king. Although he was not certain if this was true, nevertheless, Duan Lingtian was certain this was not a baseless rumor. Although there were people talking about Duan Lingtian in the restaurant, most of them had only heard of Duan Lingtian and had never seen Duan Lingtian before. Therefore, they were unaware that Duan Lingtian was sitting in a corner of the restaurant. Suddenly, without any warning, the entire restaurant fell silent. Duan Lingtian was still in a daze when a flattering voice rang in the air. "Young master, please come in." Chapter 2944. Apart from that, there was a young woman who was dressed seductively standing behind the young man. Although the woman was not as beautiful as Hu Fian, she was not inferior to He Qian, the daughter of the He clan. "It's him." With just a glance, Duan Lingtian recognized the young man. He was none other than Huang Jialong, the young master of Passage City, who was defeated by him during the Southern Heaven combat. No wonder someone said Huang Jialong is a playboy. It seems like that's true. The woman next to him is obviously not a proper lady. Duan Lingtian glanced at the seductive woman next to Huang Jialong before he retracted his gaze. Huang Jialong noticed Duan Lingtian's gaze when he walked into the restaurant with the seductive woman. Initially, he thought it was just a normal customer. However, when he realized that everyone's gazes were on him except for this particular one, he subconsciously glanced in that direction. His indifferent gaze changed when it landed on Duan Lingtian. Huang Jialong's eyes lit up like the stars in the night sky. "I still have something to do. You can leave now." Huang Jialong's eyes lit up. He did not even turn his head as he said indifferently. After that, he left the woman and walked toward Duan Lingtian. The seductive woman initially thought the young master had left her behind because he had found a new lover. However, when she saw the young master was walking toward a handsome purple-clad young man, she could not help but shudder. Could it be that the young master had a change of taste? "My lord, he's coming," Lu Guanglin reminded Duan Lingtian when he saw Huang Jialong walking toward them. Duan Lingtian merely nodded. He had also noticed Huang Jialong, brother Duan. Duan Lingtian had thought that Huang Jialong was only there to greet him, but he soon found out that Huang Jialong sat down directly after he arrived. He even asked the waiter to bring him a wine cup and a set of chopsticks. It was as if he and Duan Lingtian had been friends for many years. There was not the slightest hint of politeness. At the same time, the group of drinkers who had been paying attention to Huang Jialong vaguely guessed the identity of Duan Lingtian when they heard Huang Jialong call him Duan Lingtian. "Brother Duan?" It seems like the young city governor of Passage City is very polite to him. Is there anyone with the surname Duan in the supporting Fall nation? Surname Duan, wearing purple clothes. Could this purple-clothed young man be that Duan Lingtian? Duan Lingtian? The young man who defeated the young city lord of the Passage City with a single move during the South Heaven combat? He's the one who possesses 2 king-grade celestial weapons before he's even 100 years old. He's even stronger than the weakest one basic celestial duke? Many people had guessed Duan Lingtian's identity. At this moment, Duan Lingtian, who had been sitting in a corner, suddenly became the center of attention. "Brother Duan, before I met you, I, Huang Jialong, have never admired anyone. Whether it's my father or the emperor of the supporting Fall nation, I'm confident I'll surpass them when I'm at their age." Huang Jialong sat down and looked at Duan Lingtian as he said, "After meeting you, I finally know what it's like to admire someone. You flatter me, young city governor. I've also heard that you're extremely talented. You're a rare genius in the supporting Fall nation. If it weren't for your lust for women, I'm afraid you would have surpassed the fourth prince. Duan Ling Tian said modestly as he looked at Huang Jialong meaningfully with a smile. Brother Duan, you know about this as well? Huang Jialong rubbed his nose awkwardly. He had never expected that the young genius, whom he had been thoroughly convinced of, would know about this. Brother Duan, you must be joking. Apart from pursuing strength, I, Huang Jialong, only have one hobby: women. Huang Jialong smiled awkwardly. He then added, but although I'm a pervert, I'm not a pervert. I've never used my power to bully or force a woman to be with me. My women always do it willingly. Duan Lingtian naturally believed Huang Jialong's words. Although time would reveal a person's true nature, he had lived 2 lives, so he was quite good at judging people. Based on Huang Jialong's righteous expression, he was not a despicable person. If the young city governor is that kind of person, do you think I'd let you sit down and chat with you? Duan Lingtian shook his head and smiled. If Huang Jialong was that kind of person, Duan Lingtian would not have sat down and chatted with him. In fact, Duan Lingtian would have acted on behalf of the heavens. Huang Jialong was an easygoing person. As soon as they sat down, he began to chat with Duan Lingtian. As for the content of their conversation, it was all over the place. However, from the beginning until the end, Huang Jialong did not inquire about Duan Lingtian's background. He acted as though he was a longtime friend who was chatting with Duan Lingtian. Huang Jialong was a good conversationalist. He chatted with Duan Lingtian until evening. During this time, Duan Lingtian learned a lot from Huang Jialong. As it turns out, there's a detailed ranking system for the major forces in the Southern Heaven Territory. For example, the top sects in the borderlands of the Southern Heaven Territory are classified as grade 9 sections. On the other hand, the supporting Fall Nation, which is located at the border of the central area of the Southern Heaven Territory, is classified as a grade 8 celestial kingdom. There are many grade 9 sects and clans in the supporting Fall Nation. For example, the He clan is a grade 9 clan. Also, Huang Jialong's family is considered a 9th rank family. After coming out of the lower realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm alive, the 3 sects and 2 clans that Huang Jialong joined are all grade 7 sects and clans. 7th rank sects and 7th rank clans are all forces that possess high-grade celestial crystal veins. High-grade celestial crystal veins can even produce supreme-grade celestial crystals. Apart from that, the 3 sects and 2 clans have a close relationship with the Profound Nether Mansion. In fact, they're indirectly subordinate to the Profound Nether Mansion. I'm currently in an area governed by the Profound Nether Mansion in the Southern Heaven Territory. The Profound Nether Mansion is also related to one of the 10 major clans in the Southern Heaven Territory. The Profound Nether Mansion is also a grade 6 celestial mansion. After chatting for an entire afternoon, Duan Lingtian learned a lot from Huang Jialong. Apart from that, he also learned that the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm would open in 6 months. Initially, I was close to becoming a 1 basic celestial duke. However, in order to find a fortuitous encounter in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, I decided to focus on comprehending my divine abilities instead of cultivating. Since Huang Jialong had yet to master his assist-type divine abilities, there was still room for improvement before he entered the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. The highest cultivation base allowed to enter the lower realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm was a peak overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial. Those who were Celestial Dukes or stronger would be barred from entering the lower realm by the formation at the entrance. Brother Duan, it's dark now. Let me send all of you back. We'll talk another time. When night fell, Huang Jialong finally shut his mouth. It's all right. We'll go back by ourselves. Duan Lingtian wanted to decline Huang Jialong's offer, but he could not resist Huang Jialong's enthusiasm. In the end, he could only follow Huang Jialong and the others back to the imperial palace. When Duan Lingtian and the others were still a distance away from the imperial palace, they entered a deserted street. Swoosh, swoosh. 2 swift sounds of wind flashed out from the shadows without any sign. They were like 2 cheetahs that cut off Duan Lingtian's group of 3's path of advance and retreat in the blink of an eye. Duan Lingtian frowned as he looked at the middle-aged man who was blocking his path. At this moment, the middle-aged man was looking at him with eyes filled with bone-deep hatred. It was as if there was some kind of deep hatred between them. Duan Lingtian, you killed my son. Today, I'll make you pay with your life. The middle-aged man sneered as he glared at Duan Lingtian. His voice was so cold that it made one feel as though one had fallen into an ice cellar. Me? Killed your son? Duan Lingtian was taken aback. 11 days ago, outside the capital, the middle-aged man sneered. Upon hearing the middle-aged man's words, realization dawned on Duan Lingtian. So you're the father of that ugly and twisted man. It seems like he left some clues behind in the communication celestial talisman before he died. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to find me. Duan Lingtian looked at the middle-aged man calmly. Unknowingly, a hairpin had appeared in his hand. The hairpin was shrouded in a mysterious light, and the two flowers at the end of the hairpin were shrouded in a crimson light. However, due to Duan Lingtian's tight grip on the hairpin, the others did not notice it at all. The hairpin was the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon that Duan Lingtian had obtained in the borderlands. After using it once, the celestial weapon could be used 2 more times. Although Duan Lingtian did not know the cultivation bases of the middle-aged man and the middle-aged man behind him, he was certain both of them were stronger than Lu Guanglin, the strongest among the 3 of them. Lu Guanglin was only a 1 basic celestial duke. Naturally, his speed was not as fast as the 2 middle-aged men. For this reason, Duan Lingtian decided to use the hairpin since he felt threatened. You're seeking death. The middle-aged man was enraged when he heard Duan Lingtian had killed his son, and he even dared to say his son was ugly and had a twisted mind. His celestial origin energy surged out of his body like flames. As soon as the middle-aged man finished speaking and was about to make a move, Duan Lingtian was about to use the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon again. At this moment, a cold voice rang in the air. Chapter 2945. Huang Jialong glared at the middle-aged man who was blocking Duan Lingtian's path. His expression was cold when he saw the middle-aged man blocking Duan Lingtian's path. You're the one who's seeking death. It was Huang Jialong who shouted coldly. The middle-aged man who was about to make a move was taken aback by Huang Jialong's words. He instinctively turned to look at Huang Jialong. For a moment, the middle-aged man felt that Huang Jialong looked familiar, as if he had seen him somewhere before. But he couldn't remember where he had seen him. Elder Feng. At the same time, Huang Jialong spoke as though he was talking to the air. Young master. Almost as soon as Huang Jialong finished speaking, a ghostly old voice seemed to come from all directions. At the same time, an elderly figure appeared behind Huang Jialong out of thin air. The old man was so thin that he looked as though he would be blown away by a gust of wind. The bones on the old man's face were also protruding. Against the dim moonlight, coupled with his black clothes, he looked like a real ghost. Swoosh! Swoosh! It was as though the old man had appeared out of thin air. His speed was so fast that not only did it cause the expression of the middle-aged man to change drastically, but it also caused the expression of the person behind Duan Lingtian and the other 2 to change drastically. You're Senior Shuafeng? At the same time, the person behind Duan Lingtian, a young man with a medium build, narrowed his eyes when he saw the side of the old man's face. You know me? Upon hearing the middle-aged man's question, the old man turned around and glanced at the middle-aged man indifferently. Senior Shuafeng, my master is Tong Yu. The middle-aged man smiled bitterly. He did not expect to meet the old man here. Just like him, the old man was a sectless cultivator. Moreover, the old man was a famous sectless cultivator in the supporting Fall Nation. He was a 9 Palaces celestial duke many years ago, and it was highly likely that he had broken through and become a 10 Directions celestial duke. When he was young, he had seen this old man once. At that time, the old man had appeared in front of him as a friend of his master. Tong Yu. Hearing the young man's words, the old man frowned slightly and then relaxed. You're that kid who ran around the mountain naked? You seem to be called Hulai. The old man asked as he recalled. I didn't expect Senior Shuefeng to recognize me. I am Hu Lai. The young man Hu Lai heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, he looked at the young man standing in front of the old man cautiously. Then he asked the old man, Senior Shuefeng, I've long heard that you're already a revered elder of the city governor's estate in Passage City. Then who is this? Hu Lai had already vaguely guessed the identity of the young man in front of the old man. He's the young city lord of our Passage City, Shuefeng said. If it was the Passage City's young city master that was spoken of by ordinary people, it might be any one of the sons of the Passage City's city master. However, the young city master that Shuefeng spoke of was only a single person. Furthermore, he was the person with the greatest possibility of becoming the next city master of the Passage City. This person was the most outstanding fourth son of Huang Yuanfei, the city governor of Passage City, Huang Jialong. Shuefeng. At the same time, the middle-aged man who was blocking Duan Lingtian and the other's path finally regained his senses. When he looked at Huang Jialong again, his expression changed drastically. You're the fourth son of the city governor of Passage City, Huang Jialong? If I'm not mistaken, you're Li Wei, concubine Lan's elder brother, right? Huang Jialong glanced at the middle-aged man indifferently. I heard that your son died outside the capital, but you couldn't find the murderer. Now, it seems like not only did you find the murderer, but the murderer is also my brother, right? When Huang Jialong reached the end of his sentence, he looked at the middle-aged man deeply. Young city governor, since you know who my sister is, please don't interfere in the grudge between me and this person for my sister's sake. The middle-aged man looked at Shuefeng, who was standing behind Huang Jialong fearfully. If Shuefeng made a move, he would not even be able to touch Duan Lingtian. Haha, Huang Jialong laughed. Huang Jialong laughed when he heard the middle-aged man's words. Li Wei, I'm afraid even your sister doesn't intend to avenge your son, right? Moreover, if His Majesty finds out you're trying to kill Brother Duan, I'm afraid he won't let you have your way, right? After a while, Huang Jialong's lips curled into a mocking smile. Huang Jialong said this because the old man behind him had already told him Hu Lai's identity through voice transmission. Hu Lai was a sectless cultivator. Apart from that, the old man had also told him Hu Lai was here because Li Wei had paid him. He was here because Li Wei had asked for external help. Li Wei had a younger sister who was his favorite concubine, but he still needed external help. It was obvious Li Wei's favorite concubine had no intention of getting involved in this matter at all. Young city master, if you let me kill this person, I, Li Wei, am willing to work for you in the city governor's estate in Passage City for the rest of my life. Li Wei took a deep breath before he looked at Huang Jialong. He was serious when he spoke, but before he could finish his sentence, he suddenly made his move. Swoosh! Li Wei's entire body flew out as if he'd transformed into a swift goshawk, directly pouncing towards Duan Lingtian. However, as soon as Li Wei made his move, the old man behind Huang Jialong made his move. He easily blocked Li Wei's attack. The two of them were not on the same level at all. The old man was a 10 directions celestial duke. Li Wei, on the other hand, was only a 6 combinations celestial duke. You're seeking death. Huang Jialong only regained his senses after the old man blocked Li Wei's attack. His expression darkened as he shouted, Elder Feng, kill him. Yes, young city master. As soon as Huang Jialong's words left his mouth, the old man behind him attacked again. Li Wei's expression changed greatly. Before he could react, he had already killed Li Wei. As soon as Li Wei died, the face of Hu Lai, the rogue cultivator that Huang Jialong found, also changed greatly. Only when Huang Jialong slowly turned around and said a few words did Hu Lai let out a sigh of relief, as if relieved of a heavy burden. Since you're the disciple of Elder Feng's old friend, I'll spare your life. These were Huang Jialong's exact words. However, Huang Jialong looked at Hu Lai meaningfully and said, You've offended my brother Duan. You can avoid death, but you can't escape punishment. You should at least pay something in return, right? Hu Lai's expression changed drastically when he heard Huang Jialong's words. Finally, he raised his hand and took out an old and damaged black diamond-shaped stone. Then, He handed it to Duan Lingtian and said, "Young Master Duan, I don't have anything valuable on me. I obtained this stone by chance many years ago. Even a 10 directions celestial duke wouldn't be able to leave a mark on it. Although I don't know what it is, based on the fact that even a 10 directions celestial duke wouldn't be able to leave a mark on it, it's definitely not an ordinary stone. Now I'll give it to you, young Master Duan. I hope you'll forgive me for my transgressions." Based on Hu Lai's words, it was clear he intended to pay Duan Lingtian. When Hu Lai took out the black diamond-shaped stone, Duan Lingtian felt a sense of déjà vu. When the stone entered his hand, before he could seriously recall what it was, an old voice rang out from within his body again. This is a first form profound divine metal? The voice belonged to the third form chaos divine flame in Duan Lingtian's body. Lad, where did you get this first form profound divine metal? Based on the chaos divine flame's words, it seemed like it had awakened after sensing the stone in Duan Lingtian's hand. This is a first form profound divine metal? Duan Lingtian's eyes widened slightly when he heard the chaos divine flame's voice. No wonder he felt a sense of déjà vu when he looked at the stone. The 2 first form profound divine metals he had obtained gave him a similar feeling. One of the first form profound divine metals was given to him by Xia Jie in the divine offering land, and the other was found in his hometown in the mundane realm. Eventually, the 2 of them merged and became a second form profound divine metal. Lad, when the second form profound divine metal in your body awakens, feed it the first form profound divine metal. Once you find another first form profound divine metal, it'll evolve into a third form profound divine metal, the chaos divine flame said. The chaos divine flame continued to say, "It's a pity you don't have any king-grade celestial methods or divine abilities with the metal and fire attributes. Otherwise, the third form profound divine metal, and I would be able to help you quickly master the law of fire and the law of metal in those king-grade celestial methods and divine abilities." The law of fire? The law of metal? Duan Lingtian was taken aback. Then he asked curiously, "What's that?" In the Devata realms, only those who have mastered the power of laws can be considered powerhouses. However, in the Devata realms, only those who have mastered king-grade celestial methods or divine abilities have a chance to comprehend the power of laws. This is because king-grade celestial methods and divine abilities contain the power of laws. King-grade celestial methods and divine abilities are different from duke-grade celestial methods and divine abilities. Duke-grade celestial methods and divine abilities depend on one's mastery of the power of laws in the celestial methods and divine abilities. The chaos divine flame's voice seemed to have opened a door to a whole new world for Duan Lingtian. Once someone with the same cultivation base has mastered a law, regardless of what kind of law it is, even if it's only the first law, it'll be enough to crush someone who has mastered a duke-grade celestial method or divine ability. For this reason, there's a huge difference between duke-grade celestial methods and divine abilities and king-grade celestial methods and divine abilities in the Devata realms. Chapter 2946. The Power of the Law. Duan Lingtian had to admit that the chaos divine flame's words had broadened his horizons. He now knew about the power of the law. In the past, although Duan Lingtian had learned about celestial methods and divine abilities, most of them were low-grade celestial methods and divine abilities. He did not know much about celestial methods and divine abilities that were at the king grade or above. However, the chaos divine flame's words seemed to have opened a door to a whole new world for him. "Boy, you still haven't told me. Where did you get the first form profound divine metal in your hand? Is there anything else in the place where you found it?" The chaos divine flame interrupted Duan Lingtian's train of thought. "This man gave it to me," Duan Lingtian said to the chaos divine flame after he regained his senses. He glanced at Hu Lai indifferently before his heart jolted. "What?" The chaos divine flame was shocked. It could not help but scoff. "Is he an idiot? How could he give the profound divine metal to you? Even though a first form profound divine metal is useless, if we can find another first form profound divine metal, we can help it evolve into a second form profound divine metal." At that time, The second form profound divine metal can be used as a soul defense celestial weapon. A hint of disappointment could be heard in the chaos divine flame's voice when it reached the end of its sentence. He's an idiot. How could he give away a treasure like the profound divine metal? Even if the first form profound divine metal is a treasure, someone has to be able to recognize it. Otherwise, it's destined to be a pearl covered in dust. Duan Lingtian said to the chaos divine flame. This man only knows that even a 10 directions celestial duke can't leave a mark on the profound divine metal. He only knows it's extraordinary, but he doesn't know how precious it is. Lad, you're really lucky. The chaos divine flame sighed and disappeared again. It was as if it had never been there. Young Master Duan. Hulai was extremely perturbed when he saw Duan Lingtian holding the peculiar stone in his hand and flipping it around. Based on Huang Jialong's attitude, it seemed like he would not be able to live if Duan Lingtian wanted him dead. I'll take this. Let's forget about the enmity between us. Duan Lingtian casually put the first form profound divine metal away before he looked at Hulai indifferently. Thank you, young Master Duan. Thank you, young Master Duan. Hulai sighed in relief when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. After bidding farewell to Huang Jialong and Xuefeng, he turned around and left hurriedly. At this moment his heart was filled with regret. He regretted agreeing to Li Wei's request to deal with Duan Lingtian. Although Duan Ling's celestial weapon, it's still Duan Lingtian's. Of course, it's not ordinary's. After leaving, Hulai couldn't help but feel a stabbing pain in his heart. At the same time, he secretly prayed that the thing was useless. Thank you, young Master Duan. After Hulai left, Duan Lingtian glanced at Li Wei's corpse on the ground before he looked at Huang Jialong and thanked him solemnly. If Huang Jialong did not ask the old man to help him, he would have to use his consumable royal-grade celestial weapon again. The consumable royal-grade celestial weapon could only be used 3 times. If he had used it again, he would only have 1 use left. For this reason, Huang Jialong's old man had saved him the use of his consumable royal-grade celestial weapon. He was extremely grateful. Brother Duan, you must be joking. Although Li Wei wanted to make a move, your expression remained calm. It's obvious you didn't think much of him. Huang Jialong shook his head with a smile. If I'm not mistaken, you must have someone protecting you in the dark, right? Asking Elder Feng to help you is just the icing on the cake. It's not worth mentioning at all. On the other hand, I don't think Li Wei is worthy of your senior protecting you, Huang Jialong said as he looked around. His eyes were filled with respect. He did not dare to be negligent, as if there was really a powerful expert hiding in the dark. Huang Jialong had clearly seen Duan Lingtian's composure earlier. For this reason, he could see Duan Lingtian's fearlessness. Naturally, he assumed there was a powerhouse protecting Duan Lingtian. Since Xuefeng did not notice the powerhouse's presence, it meant the powerhouse was at least a 1 basic celestial king. After all, Xuefeng was a 10 directions celestial duke. Huang Jialong did not expect Duan Lingtian to be so confident. Duan Lingtian was fearless not because there was a powerhouse protecting him in the dark, but because he had a consumable royal-grade celestial weapon. Once he activated it, it would grant him strength comparable to an ordinary celestial lord. No matter what, I owe you a favor, young master. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly. He could see Huang Jialong had misunderstood him. However, he did not bother to explain himself. After all, he could not afford to reveal his consumable royal-grade celestial weapon. Earlier, as soon as he took out the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon, he had used his soul energy to guide the aura of the second form profound divine metal to shroud the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon. With this, even if an ordinary celestial king were to spy on them with their divine consciousness, the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon would not be exposed. He had done this to guard against the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation. As a celestial king, the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation could easily envelop half of the capital with his divine consciousness. Moreover, this place was not far from the imperial palace of the supporting Fall Nation. Therefore, the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation's divine consciousness could easily envelop them. Brother Duan, I'm afraid we'll have to meet His Majesty now. Huang Jialong glanced at Li Wei's corpse on the ground before he sent a voice transmission to Duan Lingtian. His Majesty might have found out about this matter by now. His Majesty might not have found out about it. However, it's best to inform His Majesty. Although Li Wei is concubine Lan's brother, we're in the right. Moreover, with your value and my status, His Majesty won't make things difficult for us. In the imperial palace of the supporting Fall Nation, in the throne room of the inner palace. This is Hu Lin Yi, the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, sat on the dragon throne in the middle of the throne room. He frowned slightly as he looked at the corpse on the ground. It was obvious he was unaware of what had just happened. Your Majesty, look at his face. Huang Jialong raised his hand, and an invisible force flipped the corpse on the ground. The corpse's face was exposed to Hu Lin Yi's eyes. Li Wei! Hu Lin Yi's expression changed when he saw the corpse's face. Was this not the elder brother of his beloved concubine, Concubine Lan? Your Majesty! Your Majesty! A series of hurried voices rang from outside the throne room when Hu Lin Yi recognized the corpse. Then, a graceful and beautiful woman rushed into the throne room, with several palace maids escorting her. Your Majesty, my elder brother's soul pearl has shattered. You must help me find out. The beautiful woman held the shattered soul bead in her hand and shouted as she rushed into the throne room. Her voice only stopped abruptly when she saw the corpse lying on the ground. Elder brother. After being stunned for a moment, the beautiful woman, who was concubine Lan, changed her expression drastically. She rushed to the corpse and wept, her tears falling like rain. When concubine Lan saw the two young men among the three people beside the corpse, she knew how her elder brother had died. At the same time, she also knew that with her ability, it would be harder than ascending to the heavens to avenge her elder brother. Therefore, no matter how much she hated him, she could only bury this hatred deep in her heart. Jialong, what's going on? Hu Lin Yi looked at Huang Jialong with a piercing gaze. Your Majesty, Li Wei. Huang Jialong did not hide anything from Hu Lin Yi. He told Hu Lin Yi about how Li Wei had colluded with others to kill Duan Lingtian. He also told Hu Lin Yi the reason Li Wei wanted to kill Duan Lingtian. He also told Hu Lin Yi that Li Wei was killed by the old man next to him. Duan Lingtian, did you kill Li Hao? Hu Lin Yi asked in a deep voice as he looked at Duan Lingtian. Yes. Duan Lingtian had a calm expression as he nodded in a manner that was neither servile nor overbearing. Why did you kill him? Hu Lin Yi asked. I don't know him, but the moment he saw me, he told me to choose one of the two paths. Either I destroy my own face, or I die in his hands. Duan Lingtian asked indifferently. What would you choose, Your Majesty? Bastard. Hu Lin Yi cursed when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Naturally, he was cursing Li Hao instead of Duan Lingtian. Your Majesty. At the same time, Huang Jialong looked at Hu Lin Yi and said through voice transmission, Li Hao is much stronger than the one basic celestial duke by Duan Lingtian's side. However, before Elder Feng showed up, and Li Hao was about to attack, Duan Lingtian remained calm from the beginning until the end. It's obvious he's not afraid at all. Huang Jialong did not continue speaking after he finished speaking. He did not continue because he knew even if he did not continue, the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation would be able to guess what he was going to say. It seems like he's being protected by a celestial king or above. Furthermore, he's not even 100 years old, but he's already nearly invincible among high immortals. Moreover, with his innate talent, the 3 sects and 2 clans will definitely fight over him after he comes out of the lower realm of the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. At that time, no matter which sect or clan he joins, I'll still benefit greatly from him. Whether it's to avoid offending the powerhouse behind him, or the 3 sects and 2 clans, Li Hao and Li Wei's deaths are not worth mentioning. Chapter 2947. Li Hao and Li Wei only have themselves to blame for their deaths. This matter has come to an end. This matter is settled, Hu Lin Yi, the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, said loudly. You're wise, Your Majesty. Huang Jialong smiled and cupped his fists together. Duan Lingtian also cupped his fists together at Hu Lin Yi before they bade farewell and left. As soon as Duan Lingtian and the others left the throne room, Hu Linyi looked at concubine Lan, who was crying beside Li Wei's body, and sighed. My concubine, the dead can't be brought back to life. My concubine, I'm sorry for your loss. Concubine Lan trembled slightly when she heard Hu Linyi's words of comfort. She lowered her head as a frosty expression appeared on her face. Although she knew this would happen, she could not help but feel a chill in her heart when she heard Hu Linyi's decision. Your Majesty, I'd like to return home for a while and bury my elder brother as well. Concubine Lan took a deep breath and waited for the frost on her face to dissipate before she raised her head and looked at Hu Linyi pitifully. All right. Hu Linyi nodded in agreement. However, not long after concubine Lan left with Li Wei's body, Hu Linyi, who was sitting on the main seat in the throne room, showed no signs of leaving the throne room. Heifeng, Hu Linyi sat on the dragon throne and looked at the void in front of him as he called out a name indifferently. Your Majesty. As soon as Hu Linyi finished speaking, a figure appeared out of thin air and stood in front of Hu Linyi. It was a young man dressed in black. His face was cold, and his eyes were hollow as though they were soulless. After concubine Lan buries her elder brother, you'll send her on her way. Hu Linyi took a deep breath. It seemed like he had made a huge decision. Your Majesty, you. The young man was taken aback. His hollow eyes seemed to have gained some color at this moment. Concubine Lan isn't a person who is easily reconciled. She might be able to tolerate the death of her nephew. However, she may be able to tolerate the death of her elder brother Li Wei. But if she finds the opportunity, she will definitely take revenge. In order to stop her from provoking the Duan Lingtian, I have no choice but to get rid of her. Hu Linyi replied. Compared to the benefits offered by the 3 sects and 2 clans, concubine Lan is not worth mentioning. Hu Linyi's tone turned cold as he spoke. Yes, Your Majesty. The cold-looking young man retreated, and his figure once again disappeared into the void. It was as if he was returning to where he came from. At the other side, soon after the trio left the throne room, Xuefeng, the 10 Directions Celestial Duke, who was standing next to Duan Lingtian, looked at Duan Lingtian and asked, Young Master Duan, can you show me the stone that Hu Lai gave you? As soon as he finished speaking, Xuefeng seemed to realize that his words were a little abrupt. He immediately added, Of course, if young Master Duan finds it inconvenient, that's fine too. There's nothing inconvenient about it. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly as he took out the first form profound divine metal that Hu Lai had given him earlier from his spatial ring. Naturally, Duan Lingtian was the only one who knew that the stone was a profound divine metal. Xuefeng took the stone from Huang Xiaolong. First, he tried to use some of his strength to break the stone, but it did not budge. In the end, he gradually increased his strength. However, even with all his strength, he could not leave a mark on the stone. In fact, when he used his divine consciousness to scan the stone, he did not discover anything special about it. What a strange stone. Xuefeng shook his head as he returned the stone to Duan Lingtian. It seems like Hu Lai wasn't lying. Even a 10 Directions Celestial Duke can't leave a mark on the stone. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly as he put the stone away. From the beginning to the end, he was not worried that Xuefeng would recognize the stone. What a joke! Previously, even Xia Jie from the Divine Offering Land, who was much more powerful than the heavens and earth in the Devata realms, failed to recognize the other first form profound divine metal. How could Xuefeng, a mere 10 Directions Celestial Duke, discover the secret of the first form profound divine metal? Unless he possessed a second form profound divine metal, or chaos divine flame, the 5 divine elements would not be able to do so. The 5 divine elements that were at or above the second form possessed intelligence. They would be able to identify the first form divine elements and inform their host. For this reason, most people would only be able to identify the first form divine elements through this method. Since Duan Lingtian had seen 3 types of first form profound divine metals, he would be able to recognize a 4th type of profound divine metal even without the help of the 5 divine elements second form profound divine metals. However, he would have to ask the second form divine elements if he wanted to be certain. Soon after, Huang Jialong and Xuefeng had escorted Duan Lingtian back to the Origin Gathering Hall. Lu Guanglin, who had returned to the Origin Gathering Hall earlier, was already waiting at the entrance of the courtyard. Brother Duan, the person next to you is very loyal to you. Huang Jialong raised an eyebrow when he saw Lu Guanglin standing at the entrance of the courtyard. Then he said to Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly. Naturally, Lu Guanglin would not be inferior to Duan Lingtian. Why don't you come in and have a seat, young master? When they arrived at the entrance of the courtyard, Duan Lingtian invited Huang Jialong to enter the courtyard. However, Huang Jialong tactfully declined. Brother Duan, it's getting late, so I won't disturb you any longer. Let's meet again in a few days. After he finished speaking, he bade farewell to Duan Lingtian and left with Xuefeng. Duan Lingtian only entered the courtyard after Huang Jialong and Lu Guanglin disappeared from his sight. Lu Guanglin followed behind him like a shadow. Guanglin, what do you think of Huang Jialong? Duan Lingtian asked Lu Guanglin after they entered the courtyard and sat down at the stone table. Master, although the young governor of Passage City misunderstood that you have an extraordinary background and that you're protected by a powerhouse, based on his interaction with you, he doesn't seem to have any ulterior motives. Instead, it's your outstanding performance that attracted him to approach you, Master. Lu Guanglin expressed his opinion when he heard Duan Lingtian's question. My outstanding performance attracted him to approach you? Duan Lingtian looked at Lu Guanglin deeply. Guanglin, you're really good at flattering me. However, it's just as you said. This Huang Jialong didn't have any ulterior motives when he befriended me. He just appreciated me. After living for 2 lifetimes, Duan Lingtian had seen all kinds of people. Therefore, after interacting with Huang Jialong for half a day, he could vaguely tell that Huang Jialong was a straightforward person who was worth befriending. Naturally, it would be unrealistic to say that Huang Jialong was not a scheming person. Based on how Huang Jialong dealt with Li Wei's matter, it was clear that he was not a simple person. This was not surprising. As the strongest person below celestial kings in the supporting Fall Nation, and the most outstanding son of Huang Yuanfei, the city governor of Passage City, how could he be a simple person? However, Duan Lingtian could sense Huang Jialong's sincerity when he interacted with Duan Lingtian. It was clear that Huang Jialong genuinely wanted to befriend him. Time will reveal a person's true nature. If he simply wants to befriend me, it's fine to have more friends. However, if he has other ulterior motives, he can forget about getting what he wants. Duan Lingtian thought to himself as his eyes glinted. Guanglin. After a few moments, Duan Lingtian looked at Lu Guanglin and said, help me purchase some medicinal herbs in the next few days. Buy whatever you can. I'll think of something else if I can't buy them. After Duan Lingtian finished speaking, he told Lu Guanglin all the medicinal herbs he needed. As a one basic celestial duke, Lu Guanglin's photographic memory was nothing to him. As soon as he heard Duan Lingtian's words, he quickly left. As long as I refine the profound golden pill and consume it, I'll be able to break through and become a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. I'll need some time to stabilize my cultivation base before I enter the southern heaven ancient realm. After all, it'll take some time to stabilize my cultivation base if I use pills to improve my cultivation base. Duan Lingtian muttered to himself after Lu Guanglin left. The profound golden pill was a top prominent celestial pill that was much more difficult to refine than the overarching heaven pill. In fact, compared to the profound golden pill, the overarching heaven pill was only an ordinary pill. The profound golden pill was a prominent celestial pill for overarching heavenly supreme celestials. Regardless of the level of an overarching heavenly supreme celestial, it would raise the cultivation base of an overarching heavenly supreme celestial by a level. Naturally, this applied to peak overarching heavenly supreme celestials. The next step after that was to become a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial was to become a celestial duke. For this reason, most overarching heavenly supreme celestials would choose to consume the profound golden pill when they were a heaven-rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial to break through and become a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. This way, the medicinal efficacy of the pill would be maximized and would not be wasted. Due to the overbearing medicinal efficacy of the profound golden pill, it was extremely rare. At the very least, when Duan Lingtian was in the borderlands, he had never heard of anyone who could refine or obtain the profound golden pill. After all, the formula of the profound golden pill was not a secret. The reason the profound golden pill was so rare was due to the high requirements for celestial alchemists. Even among 10,000 prominent celestial alchemists, there might not be one who could refine the profound golden pill. In fact, even among 100 supreme celestial alchemists, there might not be one who could refine the profound golden pill. Only celestial alchemists at the king grade and above would be able to refine a prominent celestial pill like the profound golden pill with 100% success rate. I'm afraid even the imperial family of the supporting Fall Nation doesn't have the profound golden pill. Chapter 2948. In the Devata realms, overarching heavenly supreme celestials could use the profound golden pill to raise their cultivation base by one level. On the other hand, great overarching golden celestials could use the golden evolution pill to raise their cultivation base by one level. On the other hand, ordinary golden celestials could use the gilded golden pill to raise their cultivation base by one level. Duan Lingtian had left the palace today because he had successfully broken through and become a heaven-rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial yesterday. After spending the entire night stabilizing his cultivation base, he left the palace early in the morning with Lu Guanglin. They went to the restaurant where they met Huang Jialong. After becoming a heaven-rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial, Duan Lingtian wanted to raise his cultivation base to that of a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial as soon as possible. That way, he would be able to walk out of the southern heaven ancient realm alive. After all, it was said that the lower realm was extremely dangerous. After all, less than half of the people who entered the southern heaven ancient realm would make it out alive. The lower realm of the southern heaven ancient realm restricts entry to celestial dukes and above. Moreover, it's said that even peak overarching heavenly supreme celestials, who have broken through to the level of a one basic celestial duke, would be sent out of the lower realm. If I'm not strong enough to survive, I can't possibly use my consumable royal-grade celestial weapon to escape from the lower realm, right? With this in mind, Duan Lingtian was eager to raise his cultivation base before he entered the southern heaven ancient realm. The profound golden pill had become his only hope. After all, not even one prominent celestial alchemist in 10,000 would be able to refine the profound golden pill. However, as a prominent celestial alchemist who possessed the third form of the Chaos Divine Flame, Duan Lingtian was 70% confident he would be able to refine the profound golden pill. This was Duan Lingtian's confidence in himself and the Chaos Divine Flame. Back then, he had benefited from the Chaos Divine Flame, using the Rebirth Martial Emperor's memories as a medium to greatly improve his alchemy Dao talent. It had also allowed his alchemy Dao level to rise rapidly. Currently, even ordinary supreme celestial alchemists might not be a match for him in alchemy. During the alchemy conference in the 6 southeastern regions, even the supreme celestial alchemist from the profound heaven celestial sect was inferior to him. Late at night, Duan Lingtian sat quietly in his room. A pill cauldron floated in front of him. It was the high-grade immortal artifact pill cauldron that he had been using. It has been a while since I last concocted pills, so my technique has become rusty. And now, Duan Lingtian was familiarizing himself with alchemy techniques. It had been a long time since he last refined a pill. No matter what it was, as long as it required skill, it was normal to be rusty after not touching it for a while. However, with Duan Lingtian's current level of alchemy, it only took him a few hours to familiarize himself with it. Late at night, Lu Guanglin came back. Sir, many of the larger medicine shops have closed, so we only managed to buy some medicine. I'll go take a look tomorrow. Due to the fact that Lu Guanglin left his house only when it was dark, he did not reap much of the rewards, even though he had traveled through half of the supporting Fall Nation's capital. The next day, Lu Guanglin went out again, and only returned when it was dark. Sir, we're still lacking 2 medicinal herbs, the profound spirit flower and the golden nematode. Lu Guanglin handed all the medicinal herbs he could buy to Duan Lingtian, before he continued to say, the people in charge of the larger medicine shops said the profound spirit flower and the golden nematode are extremely rare. Even the palace might not have them. All right. Duan Lingtian nodded. This was within his expectations. Sir, the medicinal herbs you bought. It seems like they're for refining the profound golden pill? In the beginning, Lu Guanglin did not know why Duan Lingtian was buying these medicinal herbs. After all, he was not a celestial alchemist, and was not familiar with medicinal herbs. However, after running around for the whole day, the people in charge of the medicinal herb stores asked him if he was going to refine the profound golden pill, after knowing that he was going to buy the profound spirit flower and the golden nematode. Naturally, Lu Guanglin knew what kind of pill the profound golden pill was. It was a prominent celestial pill that could allow a heaven stage overarching heavenly supreme celestial to break through and become a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Moreover, the profound golden pill was widely acknowledged as the best prominent celestial pill. It was also known as the best prominent celestial pill in the world. The profound golden pill was renowned among prominent celestial pills, not only because of its heaven-defying effects, but also because it was extremely difficult to refine. Yes, Duan Lingtian nodded. Sir, although I'm not a celestial alchemist, I've heard of the profound golden pill. It's said that the profound golden pill is the most difficult prominent celestial pill to refine. Even if 10,000 prominent celestial alchemists were to work together, they might not be able to refine it. Lu Guanglin's eyes widened as he looked at Duan Lingtian. Even among 100 supreme celestial alchemists, there might not be one who can successfully refine the profound golden pill. Only a king-grade celestial alchemist would be able to refine the profound golden pill with 100% certainty. Lu Guanglin's eyes lit up as he said, Sir, do you know a king-grade celestial alchemist? Lu Guanglin thought Duan Lingtian knew a king-grade celestial alchemist, so he was searching for the ingredients to refine the profound golden pill. If a king-grade celestial alchemist were to refine the profound golden pill, it would not be a problem at all. No, I don't. However, Lu Guanglin was disappointed when he saw Duan Lingtian shaking his head and said, I plan to refine the profound golden pill myself. I forgot to tell you that I'm also a celestial alchemist. Duan Lingtian said indifferently, Sir, please don't tell me you're a king-grade celestial alchemist. Lu Guanglin's gaze changed completely. When he looked at Duan Lingtian again, it was as though he had seen a ghost. Of course not. Duan Lingtian shrugged and said, I'm just a prominent celestial alchemist. A prominent celestial alchemist? Lu Guanglin was dumbfounded. When he regained his senses, he smiled wryly and said, Sir, if you're a prominent celestial alchemist, I'm afraid you might not be able to refine the profound golden pill, even if you gather all the ingredients. Why don't you ask the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation if he knows a king-grade celestial alchemist? After learning that Duan Lingtian was a prominent celestial alchemist, Lu Guanglin was shocked by Duan Lingtian's achievements in alchemy at such a young age. However, he did not think Duan Lingtian was capable of refining the profound golden pill. Apart from one's alchemy skills, one's experience was more important in alchemy. Even if a young man who was not even 100 years old was a prominent celestial alchemist, how could he possibly refine the profound golden pill that not even 1 in 10,000 prominent celestial alchemists could refine? Although Lu Guanglin respected Duan Lingtian very much, he still did not believe Duan Lingtian would be able to refine the profound golden pill. After all, Duan Lingtian was not even 100 years old. There's no need for that. Duan Lingtian shook his head. Even if I go to the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, I'll ask him for the profound spirit flower and the golden nematode, the two main ingredients for the profound golden pill. Both the mysterious spirit flower and the golden nematode were extremely rare medicinal ingredients. They were also the two most important ingredients needed to refine the mysterious golden pill. Even the name of the profound golden pill was derived from these two herbs. Tomorrow, I'll go to the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation and ask him if he has the profound spirit flower and the golden nematode in the palace. Duan Lingtian made up his mind. Even if he's unwilling to give them to me for free, I can still buy them from him, using celestial crystals. Although Duan Lingtian had such thoughts, he knew very well that the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation would definitely give him the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation. If the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation really had the two herbs in the palace, the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation would definitely be willing to give them to him for free. It was almost impossible for him to accept celestial crystals. Does my lord still intend to refine the pills himself? Although Lu Guanglin felt Duan Lingtian's actions were a waste of God's gifts and the medicinal materials that he had gathered with great difficulty, he did not say anything else when he saw Duan Lingtian's determined attitude. Perhaps my lord can really create a miracle? At the same time, in Lu Guanglin's heart, such a crazy idea suddenly popped up. Early the next morning, Duan Lingtian walked out of his room and sat in the courtyard for a while before he went to look for the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation. Coincidentally, as soon as Duan Lingtian arrived at the residence of Hu Lin-yi, the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, he saw Hu Lin-yi walking out of the residence surrounded by 4 eunuchs. Your Majesty, Duan Lingtian stopped in his tracks and cupped his fist slightly at Hu Lin-yi, who was walking toward him. Duan Lingtian? Hu Lin-yi was slightly surprised when he saw Duan Lingtian. You're here to look for me? Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded. Is there anything I can help you with? Hu Lin-yi asked with a smile. He was counting on the purple-clad young man to bring him many benefits, so it was only natural that he greeted him with a smile. Your Majesty, I'd like to ask if you have the profound spirit flower and the golden nematode in the palace? If you do, I'm willing to buy them with celestial crystals. Duan Lingtian did not beat around the bush. Profound spirit flower? Golden nematode? Hu Lin-yi's eyes glinted. If I'm not mistaken, these two herbs are the main ingredients to refine the prominent celestial pill, the profound golden pill. Right? That's right. Duan Lingtian nodded. Then he concealed the profound divine metal's aura and revealed his cultivation base. I plan to consume the profound golden pill before I enter the southern heaven ancient realm, to break through and become a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. That way, I'll be able to shine brightly in front of the 3 sects and 2 clans. Duan Lingtian's words touched Hu Lin-yi's heart. Why, you're only a heaven rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial? Hu Lin-yi's eyes widened in shock when he sensed Duan Lingtian's aura. It was as though he had seen a ghost. Duan Lingtian was only a heaven rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial, but his strength was far stronger than the 4th prince. Chapter 2949. Hu Lin-yi, the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, did not expect Duan Lingtian was only a heaven rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial. It was none other than this heaven rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial who had easily blocked the attack of Huang Jialong, the young master of Passage City, during the Southern Heaven combat. Then, he defeated Huang Jialong with just one move. Even his son, Hu Jiyong, the 4th prince, was not strong enough to defeat Huang Jialong with just one move. Before Duan Lingtian appeared, his son was widely acknowledged as the strongest person below celestial dukes in the supporting Fall Nation. Although Hu Lin-yi had concealed his cultivation base, he had assumed Duan Lingtian was a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. He did not expect Duan Lingtian was only a heaven rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial. What did this mean? It meant Duan Lingtian's strength would increase as long as his cultivation base improved. Duan Lingtian still had a lot of room for improvement after becoming an overarching heavenly supreme celestial. On the other hand, Unless Duanling Tian mastered a king-grade celestial method or divine ability, there was basically no room for improvement before he became a celestial duke. Duanling Tian is already so strong when he's only a heaven-rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial. I wonder how strong he'll be when he becomes a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Hu Linyi's heart trembled as he looked at Duanling Tian. If he successfully becomes a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial, he'll be one of the strongest overarching heavenly supreme celestials in the profound nether mansion, right? Thinking of this, Hu Linyi sucked in a breath of cold air, and his expression turned solemn. Duanling Tian, do you really plan to join the 3 sects and 2 clans? Hu Linyi asked Duanling Tian solemnly. Based on the current situation, Hu Linyi was certain Duanling Tian had an extraordinary background. He was worried Duanling Tian had no intention of joining the 3 sects and 2 clans. If that was the case, no matter how outstanding Duanling Tian was, he would not be rewarded by the 3 sects and 2 clans. Don't worry, Your Majesty. I'll definitely join the 3 sects and 2 clans. Duanling Tian knew what was on Hu Linyi's mind, so he did not hesitate to answer Hu Linyi's question. He did not feel guilty at all when he looked at Hu Linyi. Hu Linyi nodded. Regardless of whether it's the black spirit flower or the golden nematode, they're both extremely rare medicinal herbs. However, I don't have any golden nematodes, nor do I have any in the palace. As Hu Linyi spoke, he raised his hand, and a glowing flower appeared in his hand. This flower flickered with a dim light from top to bottom. It had a total of 9 petals, and they were swaying on top of it. Although it was a flower that had long left its stem, there was no sign of it withering. It was still bright and extraordinary. If you want it, I'll give it to you. However, have you found a celestial alchemist who can refine the profound golden pill? Hu Linyi asked as he handed the profound spirit flower to Duanling Tian. Thank you, Your Majesty. I'll remember this favor. Duanling Tian did not stand on ceremony, and accepted the profound spirit flower. As for the celestial alchemist who can refine the profound golden pill, there's no need to trouble you, Your Majesty. Hu Linyi's eyes lit up. Although he was mentally prepared, he was still shocked. Even if he wanted to find a celestial alchemist who could refine the profound golden pill, he would have to pay a certain price. Of the 2 main ingredients to refine the profound golden pill, the golden nematode is rarer than the profound spirit flower. I'll order my men to keep an eye out for news of the golden nematode. I'll inform you as soon as I have news of the golden nematode. Hu Linyi looked at Duanling Tian and said, I'll inform you as soon as I have news of the golden nematode. Duanling Tian's eyes lit up. With Hu Linyi's help, it would be much easier for him to find the golden nematode. Thank you, Your Majesty. After thanking Hu Linyi again, Duanling Tian bade farewell to Hu Linyi and left. After returning to the Origin Gathering Hall, Duanling Tian crushed a communication celestial talisman and sent a message to Huang Jialong, the young master of Passage City. The communication celestial talisman he was using was one of the more advanced communication celestial talismans in the Devata realms. It required a soul imprint from the target before it could be sent out. Nobody, not even a celestial emperor, would be able to stop the communication celestial talisman from being sent out. This was because the communication celestial talisman was transmitted through a soul imprint. This communication celestial talisman was much more valuable than ordinary communication celestial talismans. Even ordinary communication celestial talismans left behind by celestial kings were not as valuable as this communication celestial talisman. The communication celestial talisman in Duanling Tian's hand was given to him by the imperial family of the supporting Fall Nation after he had obtained a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. Apart from that, the imperial family had also given him the soul imprint of the Emperor of the supporting Fall Nation. Naturally, not everyone who had obtained a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm would receive such treatment. According to the imperial family member who had given him the communication celestial talisman, apart from the 4th prince, he, Huang Jialong, and Huang Jiachao were the only ones who received such treatment. The others, including the woman who also possessed a king-grade celestial weapon, did not receive such treatment. Naturally, the woman did not need such treatment as well. After all, Huang Jialong had told Duan Lingtian that the old woman was a one-basic celestial king and was a sectless cultivator. The woman was also a sectless cultivator. She had participated in the Southern Heaven combat to obtain a spot to enter the Southern Heaven ancient realm, to train, and join one of the 3 sects and 2 clans. According to Huang Jialong, the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation had told his father, Huang Yuanfei, the city governor of Passage City. In the supporting Fall Nation, Huang Yuanfei was one of the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation. It was not an exaggeration to call him the right-hand man of the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation. After sending out the communication celestial talisman, Duan Lingtian did not receive a reply even after a long time. He was puzzled. Did I make a mistake? That's how it should be used. This was the first time Duan Lingtian had used the communication celestial talisman ever since he had obtained it. Therefore, he was puzzled when Huang Jialong did not reply. According to the person who delivered the communication celestial talisman on behalf of the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, this communication celestial talisman is extremely fast. Logically speaking, he should have received the message by now. Duan Lingtian was still puzzled when he heard Huang Yuanfei's voice. At this moment, Huang Jialong's voice rang from outside the courtyard. Brother Duan, why did you come all the way here? Can't you just send me a message? Duan Lingtian asked in confusion when Lu Guanglin brought Huang Jialong into the courtyard. The corner of Huang Jialong's mouth twitched when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Brother Duan, don't you know how precious this communication celestial talisman is? Even my father only gave me 3 communication celestial talismans. Apart from my 5th brother and me, my other 3 brothers only got 1 each. His Majesty gave you this communication celestial talisman so that you can ask him for help when you're in danger. Huang Jialong explained. Ask for help. Is this communication celestial talisman really that fast? Duan Lingtian was taken aback. Although the person who delivered the communication celestial talisman to him had left the sole imprint of the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation had told him that he could contact the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation if he was in danger. However, in his opinion, by the time the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation received the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, he would already be a corpse. For this reason, he did not plan to use the communication celestial talisman even when he encountered Li Wei and the sectless cultivator whom Li Wei had hired. Firstly, he was afraid the communication celestial talisman would alert Li Wei. If that happened, he might not even have the chance to use his consumable royal-grade celestial weapon. Secondly, he did not trust the communication celestial talisman. He trusted the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon more. Of course, Huang Jialong said matter-of-factly, as soon as you crush this communication celestial talisman, you'll be able to send a message to the person who possesses the soul imprint. This communication celestial talisman is extremely precious. In the black market of the supporting Fall Nation, the price of 1 communication celestial talisman is 100 prominent celestial crystals. Huang Jialong looked at Duan Lingtian with a pained expression on his face as he said, Brother Duan, if it's not convenient for you to look for me personally, you can ask Guanglin to look for me directly. Please don't use this communication celestial talisman recklessly. What? A communication celestial talisman costs 100 prominent celestial crystals. Upon hearing Huang Jialong's words, Duan Lingtian and Lu Guanglin were stunned. They did not expect the communication celestial talisman to be so precious. 100 high-grade celestial crystals were equivalent to 10,000 middle-grade celestial crystals. After all, the celestial crystal vein in the supporting Fall Nation was only a mediocre celestial crystal vein. Most of the celestial crystals in the vein were mediocre celestial crystals and prominent celestial crystals. Even a Duke-grade celestial weapon is only worth 1,000 mediocre celestial crystals, right? A communication celestial talisman is worth 10 Duke-grade celestial weapons? Lu Guanglin muttered to himself. The value of a Duke-grade celestial weapon in the supporting Fall Nation was similar to the value of a Duke-grade celestial weapon in the Borderlands. Duke-grade celestial weapon? Huang Jialong shook his head with a smile. Guanglin, if you want to exchange a Duke-grade celestial weapon for a communication celestial talisman in the black market, you'll need at least 15 Duke-grade celestial weapons. This communication celestial talisman is much rarer than a Duke-grade celestial weapon. This communication celestial talisman is inscribed by a formation master. Its effect is similar to a teleportation formation. As far as I know, a formation master who's capable of inscribing such a communication celestial talisman is at least a king-grade celestial alchemist or king-grade celestial weapon craftsman. Chapter 2950. Of course, only celestial alchemists and celestial weapon craftsmen at the king grade and above can inscribe such communication celestial talismans. There are also many formation grandmasters who are skilled in setting up spirit arrays, who can inscribe such communication celestial talismans. However, these formation grandmasters are not ordinary people. At the very least, there aren't any in the supporting Fall Nation. Even the 3 sects and 2 clans in the profound Nether Mansion might not have such formation grandmasters. After listening to Huang Jialong's explanation, Duan Lingtian and Lu Guanglin realized how precious these communication celestial talismans were. My lord, these communication celestial talismans can be used to save lives. You should keep them for yourself. Lu Guanglin's hands trembled as he took out 3 communication celestial talismans from his spatial ring and returned them to Duan Lingtian. These 3 communication celestial talismans were given to him by Duan Lingtian. Previously, the Emperor of the supporting Fall Nation had given Duan Lingtian 10 communication celestial talismans. Duan Lingtian had given Lu Guanglin 3 communication celestial talismans as well as his soul imprint. This was to make it easier for Lu Guanglin to contact Duan Lingtian in case of emergency. The soul imprint was extracted from the soul pearl. When Duan Lingtian gave Lu Guanglin the 3 communication celestial talismans, he also gave Lu Guanglin his soul pearl. Since the soul pearl was imprinted with his soul imprint, it could be used to communicate at any time. Although there was a cost, it was minimal. Moreover, if the soul imprint was gone, it could be replenished. Previously, the Emperor of the supporting Fall Nation had given Duan Lingtian 10 communication celestial talismans and a soul pearl to Duan Lingtian. It was the soul pearl of the Emperor of the supporting Fall Nation. The soul pearl of the supporting Fall Nation's Emperor could directly determine whether he was dead or alive. However, the reason he gave his soul pearl to Duan Lingtian was not to let Duan Lingtian know whether he was dead or alive. Instead, he wanted Duan Lingtian to send him a message through the soul imprint on the soul pearl. In the eyes of the Emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, Duan Lingtian was someone who could bring him many benefits. Therefore, it was necessary for him to protect Duan Lingtian. At the very least, he had to ensure Duan Lingtian's safety before the Duan Lingtian obtained all sorts of benefits for him. Of the 10 immortal message talismans, the Duan Lingtian gave Lu Guanglin 3. Lu Guanglin had taken into consideration that Duan Lingtian did not know the value of this immortal message talisman, and therefore wanted to return it to Duan Lingtian. Keep it for yourself. I still have 6. Duan Lingtian did not take the immortal message talisman from Lu Guanglin. Instead, he asked Lu Guanglin to keep it. At the same time, he looked at Huang Jialong and said, "Young master, Brother Duan, please don't call me young master in the future. Just call me Jialong." Huang Jialong interrupted Duan Lingtian with a hint of hope in his eyes as he said, "Unless, Brother Duan, you don't see me as a friend yet." Jialong. Duan Lingtian changed the way he addressed Huang Jialong when he saw the hope in Huang Jialong's eyes. Then he said without beating around the bush, "Since you've received my immortal message talisman, I'm sure you know why I'm looking for you. Do you have any news about the golden nematode?" He had sent the immortal message talisman to ask Huang Jialong if he knew where to find the golden nematode. Golden nematode? Huang Jialong raised an eyebrow. I don't think this herb is very useful. I only know that it can be used as the main ingredient of the profound golden pill. It's also a necessary ingredient to refine the profound golden pill. Although Huang Jialong knew this, he did not think about the profound golden pill. After all, Duanling Tian was a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. The profound golden pill would be useless to Duanling Tian. The profound golden pill could help a yellow rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial become a profound rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial, or a profound rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial to become an earth rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial. It could also help an earth rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial to become a heaven rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial, or a heaven rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial to become a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. However, the profound golden pill was useless to peak overarching heavenly supreme celestials. I'm looking for the golden nematode because of the profound golden pill. Duanling Tian did not beat around the bush. He did not hide this from the emperor of the supporting Fall Nation, let alone Huang Jialong profound golden pill? Huang Jialong frowned. Brother Duan, why do you want the profound golden pill? It seems like the profound golden pill is useless to you and Guanglin, right? As Huang Jialong spoke, he shifted his gaze from Duanling Tian to Lu Guanglin, then back to Duanling Tian. It's useless to Guanglin, but it's useful to me. As soon as Duanling Tian finished speaking, his cultivation base surged out of his soul and penetrated the profound divine metal's protection before it appeared in front of Huang Jialong. This. Huang Jialong was dumbfounded when he sensed Duanling Tian's cultivation base. He was still in a daze for a long time. At that very moment, Huang Jialong was dumbstruck. His heart was in a state of turmoil. Heavens! Duanling Tian was only a heaven rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial? He was defeated by a heaven rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial during the southern heaven combat? Brother Duan. After a long while, Huang Jialong regained his senses. He stared at Duanling Tian in a daze as though this was the first time he had met Duanling Tian. Now, you should know how useful the profound golden pill is to me, right? Duanling Tian asked as he looked at Huang Jialong. Huang Jialong nodded as a bitter smile appeared on his face. I didn't expect you're only a heaven rank overarching heavenly supreme celestial, Brother Duan. With your strength, if you break through and become a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial, you'll be one of the strongest among the 10,000 overarching heavenly supreme celestials who will enter the lower realm of the southern heaven ancient realm 6 months later. Huang Jialong could not help but sigh. 10,000 overarching heavenly supreme celestials? Duanling Tian was stunned when he heard Huang Jialong's words. He knew the supporting Fall Nation would send 9 overarching heavenly supreme celestials into the lower realm of the southern heaven ancient realm, after the 3 sects and 2 clans opened the lower realm of the southern heaven ancient realm 6 months later. However, he did not expect 10,000 overarching heavenly supreme celestials would enter the lower realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. Moreover, based on the 9 people from the supporting Fall Nation who would enter the lower realm of the southern heaven ancient realm 6 months later, it was clear the 10,000 overarching heavenly supreme celestials were extremely powerful. Yes, 10,000 overarching heavenly supreme celestials. I suspect there will be more than 15,000 of them. Huang Jialong said. The supporting Fall Nation is only a small nation in the profound Nether Mansion's territory. There are thousands of small nations like the supporting Fall Nation in the profound Nether Mansion's territory. The profound Nether Mansion's territory encompasses more than 1,000 small nations. It's also known as the 1,000 Nations land. This time, there are at least 10,000 people from the 1,000 Nations territory who will enter the lower realm of the southern heaven ancient realm, including the disciples from the 3 sects and 2 clans, as well as those from the 8th grade sects and clans. There are at least 15,000 people who have entered the southern heaven ancient realm. Duanling Tian's eyes widened when he heard Huang Jialong's words. As it turned out, the profound nether mansion was so huge. The supporting Fall nation was only one of the many small nations in the profound nether mansion's territory. Does this mean the people who will enter the lower realm of the southern heaven ancient realm 6 months later will be the most outstanding overarching heavenly supreme celestials in the profound nether mansion's territory? Lu Guanglin was stunned as well. He did not expect so many people to enter the lower realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. That's right. Huang Jialong nodded. The lower realm of the southern heaven ancient realm will open in 6 months. All the powerful overarching heavenly supreme celestials in the profound nether mansion's district will try their best to obtain a spot to enter the lower realm. As long as the overarching heavenly supreme celestials in the profound nether mansion's territory are strong enough, they'll be able to obtain a spot in any nation in the Thousand Nations territory. Take the Southern Heaven combat, held by the supporting Fall nation as an example. All overarching heavenly supreme celestials are eligible to participate. There's no restriction on non-citizens of the supporting Fall nation. This is because the Emperor of the supporting Fall nation wants 9 of the strongest overarching heavenly supreme celestials he can find to enter the lower realm of the southern heaven ancient realm. Those who come out of the lower realm of the southern heaven ancient realm alive will be eligible to join the 3 sects and 2 clans. The 3 sects and 2 clans will also rank the overarching heavenly supreme celestials who come out alive. The higher the rank of the overarching heavenly supreme celestial, the more benefits the overarching heavenly supreme celestial will bring to the overarching heavenly supreme celestial. For example, Brother Duan, if you join one of the 3 sects and 2 clans, you'll receive better rewards. Huang Jialong paused for a moment before he continued to say, as for the rewards from the 3 sects and 2 clans, as long as they're mediocre or above, they're all things that ordinary celestial kings can only dream of obtaining. Even the mediocre rewards are king-grade celestial weapons, king-grade pills, and precious materials. Upon hearing Huang Jialong's words, Duan Ling Tian finally understood why the Emperor of the supporting Fall nation valued him so much. Brother Duan, did you look for the Emperor? If he knows you're only a heaven stage overarching heavenly supreme celestial, he'll definitely do his best to help you obtain the profound spirit flower and the golden thread grass, so you can become a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Huang Jialong reminded Duan Lingtian. Yes, I did. I obtained the profound spirit flower from him. Moreover, he also said he'll help me search for the golden thread grass. Duan Lingtian nodded. In that case, all you have to do is wait for the news. The supporting Fall Nation's intelligence network is one of the best in the Thousand Nations. Huang Jialong said, I'm sure you'll find the golden thread grass in less than 2 weeks. Chapter 2951. In fact, it was just as Huang Jialong had said. About 10 days later, the Emperor of the supporting Fall Nation sent someone to look for Duan Lingtian. Young Master Duan, we've found a clue about the golden nematode. Oh, Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up immediately. He looked at the person and asked urgently, where can I find the golden nematode? The imperial family of the solitary nation, which is adjacent to the supporting Fall Nation, has the golden nematode. The person did not beat around the bush when faced with Duan Lingtian's question. He said bluntly, the solitary nation's imperial family has 2 golden nematodes. When His Majesty found out the imperial family of the solitary nation had the golden nematodes, he immediately asked for them even if he had to pay a high price. His Majesty contacted the Emperor of the solitary nation through a communication celestial talisman. However, he was rejected. The person sighed when he reached this part of the sentence. Duan Lingtian's expression changed slightly. He was disappointed. Although he had found a clue about the golden nematode, it seemed like there was no way he could get his hands on the golden nematode. However, the person's next words made Duan Lingtian's eyes light up. It seemed like there was still a chance for Duan Lingtian to turn the situation around. However, there's a reason why the Emperor of the solitary nation rejected His Majesty's request. This is because a few days ago, the emperors of the other 2 nations had contacted the Emperor of the solitary nation via immortal message talismans. All of them expressed their interest in buying the 2 golden nematodes from the royal family of the Solitary Nation. Initially, the Emperor of the Solitary Nation wanted to give one of the golden nematodes to each of them, but they rejected his offer. They wanted to keep the 2 golden nematodes for themselves. Since the Emperor of the Solitary Nation didn't want to offend either of the 2 nations, he decided to hold a royal auction 2 months later to auction off the 2 golden nematodes. It's said that the emperors of the other 2 nations would send people to the capital of the Solitary Nation to participate in the royal auction. The person paused for a moment before he continued. Therefore, His Majesty has decided to send Governor Huang of Passage City to the Solitary Nation's capital to participate in the auction held by the Solitary Nation's royal family in 2 months to bid for the golden nematode. For this reason, His Majesty asked me to inform you that the imperial family of the supporting Fall Nation will do our best to obtain the golden nematode during the Solitary Nation's imperial auction 2 months later. The person finished speaking in one breath. Solitary Nation? Royal auction? Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed as he murmured. Then the emperors of the other 2 countries want the golden nematode. Could it be that they also want the profound gold pill? Although Duan Lingtian had intentionally lowered his voice, the person still heard him clearly. Young Master Duan, the emperors of the other 2 nations are after the profound gold pill. It's said that the 7th prince, whom the emperor of the Moran nation dotes on the most, has mastered all sorts of Duke-grade celestial methods and divine abilities. Although he's only a heaven-stage overarching heavenly supreme celestial, if he manages to obtain the profound gold pill before entering the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm, he'll be able to shine in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm and be valued by the 3 sects and 2 clans. As for the Emperor of the East Ming Nation, it's said that he wants the profound gold pill for a genius sectless cultivator. Although the genius sectless cultivator is only a heaven-stage overarching heavenly supreme celestial, he has mastered the power of the law and defeated all the peak overarching heavenly supreme celestials in the East Ming Nation, who participated in the Southern Heaven combat. Under such circumstances, the Emperor of the East Ming Nation wants to give the profound gold pill to the genius sectless cultivator. Even if the genius sectless cultivator takes the profound gold pill and joins one of the 3 sects and 2 clans in the future, with his outstanding performance, he'll definitely be ranked as one of the top prodigies in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm. If such a genius were to join any one of the 3 sects and 2 clans, that sect or clan would definitely not be stingy to the East Ming Nation, which had discovered him. The person paused for a moment before he looked at Duan Lingtian meaningfully and said, "The genius sectless cultivator from the East Ming Nation is similar to you, young Master Duan. Young Master Duan, you're also a heaven-stage overarching heavenly supreme celestial, but you're stronger than all the peak overarching heavenly supreme celestials in the supporting Fall Nation, who participated in the Southern Heaven combat. If you're a heaven-stage overarching heavenly supreme celestial, and you're widely acknowledged as the strongest person below a celestial duke in the supporting Fall Nation, that sectless cultivator is also widely acknowledged as the strongest person below a celestial duke in the East Ming Nation." The person continued to speak. A heaven-stage overarching heavenly supreme celestial has mastered the power of the law. Duan Lingtian's eyes widened in shock when he heard the person's words. Naturally, he knew what this meant. This meant that the heaven-stage overarching heavenly supreme celestial had a king-grade celestial method, or divine ability, for him to comprehend and master the power of the law. For this reason, the heaven-stage overarching heavenly supreme celestial was able to defeat all the peak overarching heavenly supreme celestials in the East Ming Nation. At some point, Duan Lingtian and Lu Guanglin exchanged a look. Both of them could see the shock in each other's eyes. The reason Duan Lingtian was able to defeat Huang Jialong so easily was due to the remaining power of the consumable royal-grade celestial weapon. If Duan Lingtian were to fight Huang Jialong again, he was certain he would not be a match for Huang Jialong even if he used all his techniques. Although both of them possessed royal-grade celestial weapons, and had similar attainments in celestial methods and divine abilities. The gap between their cultivation bases was insurmountable. Moreover, the genius Seckless cultivator is not even 100 years old. What shocked Duan Lingtian and Huang Jialong the most was the shocking news that the person revealed. A heaven stage overarching heavenly supreme celestial, who was not even 100 years old, had comprehended the power of the law. How monstrous was this person? In the East Ming nation, many people are saying that the genius Seckless cultivator is a reincarnated cultivator who was extremely powerful in his past life. However, this has not been confirmed, and it is more of a guess of others. After the person finished speaking, he bade farewell to Duan Lingtian and Huang Jialong. When he reached the entrance of the courtyard, he suddenly stopped and turned around. Young Master Duan, His Majesty said that if you're interested in participating in the imperial auction in 2 months, you can go with City Governor Huang. Just inform young City Lord Huang Jialong in advance. After the person finished speaking, he walked away and disappeared from Duan Lingtian's sight. However, Duan Lingtian's attention was still on the genius Seckless cultivator from the East Ming nation. Since the genius Seckless cultivator was not even 100 years old, he must be someone who had a fortuitous encounter, if he was not a reincarnated cultivator. Otherwise, he would not have achieved so much at such a young age. Guanglin, what do you think about the genius Seckless cultivator from the East Ming nation? Duan Lingtian asked as he looked at Lu Guanglin. My lord. Lu Guanglin's expression was solemn as he said, the genius Seckless cultivator from the East Ming nation is able to comprehend the power of the law, even though he's not even 100 years old. He's either a heaven-defying fortuitous encounter, or he's a reincarnated cultivator. Although reincarnated cultivators have to recultivate their cultivation base from scratch, due to the fact that they have memories of their past lives, it's equivalent to directly inheriting the celestial methods, divine abilities, and the laws they comprehended in their past lives. Lu Guanglin said, however, although there's no lack of people who reincarnate in the Devata realms, there are very few of them. First of all, not many people are willing to give up everything they have to reincarnate. Secondly, it's very risky to reincarnate as a celestial. It can be said that there's only a slim chance of survival. Lu Guanglin spoke frankly and confidently, expressing his own opinion. Therefore, I'm more inclined to think that he's the kind of person who has great luck and obtained an unimaginable fortuitous encounter. That's why he has today. Duan Lingtian nodded in agreement. In fact, he agreed with Lu Guanglin. I wonder if I'll be able to comprehend the power of the law before I'm 100 years old, if I obtain a king-grade celestial method or divine ability. Duan Lingtian muttered to himself. If you obtain a fire attribute king-grade celestial method or divine ability, with the help of the chaos divine flame, it'll be easy for you to comprehend the law of fire. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, a familiar voice that he had not heard for a long time resonated from the place where his soul was located. The profound divine metal? Just as Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up, that voice continued to sound, and it contained a sense of urgency. Boy, the chaos divine flame left me a message saying you obtained a first form profound divine metal? Quick, take it out and give it to me. The owner of the voice was none other than the second form profound divine metal that had been guarding Duan Lingtian's soul. Based on the profound divine metal's words, the chaos divine flame had left him a message about the first form profound divine metal before it fell into a deep slumber. Duan Lingtian could hear the urgency in the profound divine metal's voice. He casually took the first form profound divine metal out of his spatial ring. As soon as the stone was in his hand, he could clearly feel a golden energy coming out of the profound divine metal from the side of his soul and enveloping his hand. To be more precise, it shrouded the stone in his hand. The stone began to tremble violently. Heh, you're not even sentient, and yet, you want to resist? Little guy, be a good boy and become a part of my body. When Duan Lingtian heard the profound divine metal's voice again, he saw the stone in his hand being melted by the golden energy and becoming a part of the golden energy. The golden energy returned as quickly as it had appeared. Moreover, it seemed to be stronger when it returned. Duan Lingtian knew this meant the first form profound divine metal had been devoured by the second form profound divine metal. My lord, this is... Chapter 2952. My lord, this is... In Lu Guanglin's eyes, a golden energy suddenly extended from Duan Lingtian's body and shrouded his hand. Then, a stone appeared in Duan Lingtian's hand and melted, becoming part of the golden energy. Finally, the golden energy became stronger after it assimilated the stone and returned to Duan Lingtian's body. He had no idea what was going on. This was his first time seeing something like this. However, even though he did not know what was going on, and even though it was his first time seeing such a scene, he could clearly sense that it was not as simple as it seemed. I don't know. I'll tell you when I have the chance, Duan Lingtian replied to Lu Guanglin. Then, he shifted his attention to the profound divine metal in his body. Duan Lingtian could see the damaged metal piece, the profound divine metal. In his soul's spiritual sea was quickly replenished by the golden energy that had extended out of the profound divine metal. However, it was only a small part of the profound divine metal. The profound divine metal was still incomplete, but it was not as badly damaged as before. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Lu Guanglin did not think much of it. In his opinion, Duan Lingtian must have his reasons for saying so. Lu Guanglin watched Duan Lingtian doing nothing for a long time. He did not know what Duan Lingtian was doing, but he continued to watch over him patiently. Boy, you've done well. If you can find another piece of first form profound divine metal, I'll be able to transform into a third form profound divine metal. The profound divine metal's voice rang in Duan Lingtian's soul. It was not stingy with its praise for Duan Lingtian. If I transform into a third form profound divine metal, I'll be able to help you comprehend the law of metal in the future, when you comprehend celestial methods and divine abilities above the king grade. Apart from that, I'll be able to protect your soul in my third form and merge with your celestial weapon to increase its power when you're facing an enemy. Alright, I'll go back to sleep now that I've said so much. All the best, boy. Help me transform into a third form profound divine metal as soon as possible, and I won't mistreat you. The profound divine metal's voice trailed off at this moment. Duan Lingtian had a lot of questions to ask, but he did not know where to vent them. Profound divine metal. However, based on the profound divine metal's words, it seemed like it would be able to merge with a celestial weapon to increase its power after transforming into a third form celestial weapon? What are the profound divine metal and the primal chaos divine flame? I only know that they're two of the 5 divine elements. Divine metal, divine metals divine metal, divine metals first form divine metals first forms divine is celestials divine fire divine. The chaos divine metals S can be used as a prominent celestial fire. Apart from that, the chaos divine fire is different from ordinary celestial fires. Ordinary celestial fires are divided into 2 types. One is suitable for forging weapons while the other is suitable for refining pills. As for the primal chaos divine flame, it can be used to refine weapons and pills. The profound divine metal and the chaos divine flames can help me comprehend the law of fire and the law of metal? What about the profound divine metal and chaos divine flames, ants? Is there a greater use for it? Duan Lingtian could not help but feel excited when he thought about the chaos divine metal and the chaos divine flames, and naturally, he knew he would have to find other chaos divine flames and profound divine metals for them to devour and assimilate. The imperial family of the Solitary Nation will be holding an auction in the capital of the Solitary Nation in 2 months. I'll go look for Jialong and pay a visit to his father, the city governor of Passage City. After bidding farewell to Lu Guanglin, Duan Lingtian left the imperial palace with Lu Guanglin and made their way to the city governor's estates branch in the capital of the Supporting Fall Nation. The Supporting Fall Nation was a nation There were 36 cities like Passage City under the supporting Fall Nation. In the supporting Fall Nation's territory, the 36 city governors were equivalent to a marquis. Of course, there were differences between the 36 cities and the 36 city lords. For example, among the 36 cities in the supporting Fall Nation, Passage City was ranked in the top 3 in terms of resources and population in the supporting Fall Nation. Needless to say, the city governor of Passage City was the strongest powerhouse below the Celestial King realm in the supporting Fall Nation. He was also the most trusted right-hand man of the Emperor of the supporting Fall Nation. During his time as the city governor of Passage City, the city's development could be said to be at its peak. In the capital of the supporting Fall Nation, each of the 36 city governors had a branch in Passage City. After the Southern Heaven combat, since Huang Yuanfei's 2 sons had obtained a spot to enter the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm in 6 months, and there was nothing important in Passage City, Huang Yuanfei decided to stay in the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm for the time being. He would only return to Passage City after his sons left the Southern Heaven Ancient Realm and joined one of the 3 sects and 2 clans. During this time, he would stay in the city governor's estate to guide his sons in their cultivation. Although the Passage City's branch in the capital of the supporting Fall Nation was not as big as the Imperial Palace, it was still huge. The entrance was grand, and it felt as though one was standing in front of a small imperial palace. Young Master Duan, our young city governor has instructed us to bring you to him directly without informing him of your arrival. When Duan Lingtian and Lu Guanglin arrived at the entrance of the city governor's estate's branch in Passage City, one of the guards gestured for them to enter as soon as they arrived. After Duan Lingtian led Lu Guanglin through the entrance, the guard quickly caught up with them and led the way. After entering the entrance, Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up. Although the city governor's estate in Passage City was not as big as the Imperial Palace, it had everything that the Imperial Palace had. Although it was small, it had everything. This was what Duan Lingtian felt when he entered the estate. Duan Lingtian passed through the long corridor in the middle of the garden that he had meticulously repaired and stepped on the limestone tiles. He felt as if he was surrounded by 100 flowers as he felt the fragrance that assaulted his nose. Apart from that, he could also hear the rhythmic sound of running water. Although he was far away, he could still hear the sound of running water. Brother Duan, I was just about to look for you. I didn't expect you to come knocking on my door first. After the guard announced their departure, Huang Jialong stepped out of the entrance and appeared in front of Duan Lingtian. At the same time, he invited Lu Guanglin and Duan Lingtian into the estate. You're going to look for me? Duan Lingtian asked curiously as he walked into the estate. I'm sure you're here for the same thing. The golden nematodes, right? Huang Jialong asked with a smile as he sat down at a stone table in the middle of the estate after he gestured for Duan Lingtian to sit down. You know about it? Duan Lingtian asked with a smile. Did City Governor Huang tell you about it? Yes. Huang Jialong nodded. My father told me that His Majesty has asked him to participate in the imperial auction of the Solitary Nation in 2 months. He said he must obtain the 2 golden nematodes that are going to be auctioned off by the imperial family of the Solitary Nation. After father received His Majesty's message, he told me to ask you if you intend to go to the capital of the Solitary Nation with him to attend the auction organized by the Solitary Nation's royal family. What do you think? Brother Duan, do you want to go and have a look? If you want to go, I'll go as well. Without waiting for Duan Lingtian's reply, Huang Jialong added, Naturally, I'm not interested in going if you don't want to go. I'll go. Duan Lingtian replied. Of course he would go. 2 months later, the Solitary Nation's royal family would hold an auction for the golden nematode. Even if the city lord of Passage City managed to obtain the golden nematode, it would still take some time for him to return from the Solitary Nation and obtain the golden nematode. If Duan Lingtian went, he would be able to refine the profound golden pill and become a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial after consuming the profound golden pill in the Solitary Nation. Then I'll go as well. Huang Jialong's interest was piqued when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Jialong. After a while, Duan Lingtian looked at Huang Jialong and asked, "Is City Governor Huang in?" Since Duan Lingtian was already there, he decided to meet Huang Jialong out of courtesy. It did not matter if it was due to his friendship with Huang Jialong or his status as the city governor of Passage City. "Brother Duan, what a coincidence. Just an hour ago, my father told me that he'll be going to the imperial auction of the solitary nation in 1.5 months' time. After that, he left the capital and returned to Passage City." Huang Jialong shook his head and said, "When he returns, it'll be the time for us to depart. In that case, we'll have to meet City Governor Huang when we depart for the solitary nation." Duan Lingtian nodded. After chatting with Huang Jialong for a while, Duan Lingtian returned to the Origin Gathering Hall in the Imperial Palace. In the next 1.5 months, Duan Lingtian did not continue to cultivate. Instead, he focused on alchemy to improve his alchemy techniques. Although his cultivation base had improved, his foundation was still unstable after consuming the profound golden pill to become a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Even after consuming the profound golden pill, his cultivation base was still in the same state. For this reason, he did not plan to waste his time cultivating. Even if he wanted to cultivate, he would wait until he had consumed the profound golden pill to become a peak overarching heavenly supreme celestial. 1.5 months later, Duan Lingtian and Lu Guanglin flew in the sky above the northern gate of the supporting Fall Nation's capital. In just a blink of an eye, they were near the people standing in the distance. "Brother Duan." Chapter 2953. A few days ago, Huang Jialong had looked for Duan Lingtian and told Duan Lingtian that they would depart at this time. For this reason, Duan Lingtian had arrived at the northern gate of the supporting Fall Nation's capital on time. "Brother Duan, I'll bring you to see my father." After greeting Duan Lingtian, Huang Jialong turned around and led the way for Duan Lingtian and Lu Guanglin to meet the 3 people in the distance. One of the 3 people was no stranger to Duan Lingtian. It was Huang Yuanfei, the city governor of Passage City. However, it was his first time meeting the other 2 people. One of them was an old man in a black robe. He had a head of gray hair, a thin body and a bony face. He gave people the feeling that he was just skin and bones. He emitted a cold aura as he stood there. The other person was a tall and muscular middle-aged man dressed in a white robe. He had a square face, short hair, and a pair of tiger-like eyebrows. He had an awe-inspiring aura. The middle-aged man stood there like an iron tower, but also like an angry Vajra. Compared to the black-robed old man, the white-robed middle-aged man was the other extreme. "Father, this is Brother Duan. You've met him before." When Huang Jialong arrived in front of Huang Yuanfei, he brought Duan Lingtian in front of him and greeted Huang Yuanfei. Huang Yuanfei's eyes were trained on Duan Lingtian the moment he saw Duan Lingtian. "Little brother Duan, we meet again." Huang Yuanfei greeted Duan Lingtian with a smile. He did not put on the airs of the city governor of Passage City or an elder. His attitude was as if he was talking to someone of equal status. This made Duan Lingtian feel comfortable. "City Governor Huang, Jialong and I are friends. You can just call me Lingtian," Duan Lingtian said with a smile. "Haha, alright. However, calling you Lingtian sounds distant, so I'll just call you Little Tian. Considering your age, I'm not taking advantage of you by calling you that." Huang Yuanfei laughed. His words had unknowingly closed the distance between him and Duan Lingtian. "Little Tian, this is Elder Mo. He's my foster father, and also my father's sworn brother. This is Bai Gang, my brother. You can call him Uncle Bai." Huang Yuanfei introduced the black-robed old man and the white-robed middle-aged man to Duan Lingtian. Almost as soon as Huang Yuanfei finished speaking, Duan Lingtian looked at the black-robed old man and the white-robed middle-aged man. Their gazes also fell on Duan Lingtian at the same time. Suddenly, Duan Lingtian felt as if he had been completely seen through, as if he had nowhere to hide in front of these 2 people. At the same time, Duan Lingtian could vaguely sense that something was amiss between these 2 people. but he could not put his finger on it. Elder Mo Uncle Bai. After taking a deep breath, Duan Ling Tian smiled as he greeted the two of them. Not bad, not bad. No wonder Jiao Long said you're impressive. You're able to become a heaven stage overarching heavenly supreme celestial before the age of 100. And you're even stronger than him. You're not simple at all, Bai Gang said to Duan Ling Tian with a smile. Based on his appearance, it was clear he was a cheerful person. As for the black-robed old man, he merely nodded at Duan Ling Tian, before he shifted his gaze away from Duan Ling Tian. His gaze was extremely calm from beginning to end, as if he was completely unperturbed. Hee, little brat Ling Tian, this old man Mo's temper is just like that. He's very boring, just ignore him, Bai Gang said with a smile, trying to diffuse the awkwardness between Duan Ling Tian and the black-robed old man. Elder Mo, everyone's here. Let's go. At the same time, Huang Yuanfei looked at the black-robed old man. All right. The black-robed old man nodded in response. As soon as he nodded, he seemed to have transformed into a bolt of black lightning as he sped away. Immediately, a series of thunderous explosions rang out, deafening to the ears. In the next moment, Duan Lingtian's attention was caught by the black-robed old man, who had sped into the distance. The old man's black robe fluttered as a vast aura swept out. At the same time, a dazzling black light shone from the old man's body like ink. Swoosh! In the next moment, as the enchanting black light expanded, the ink scattered in all directions, and a colossal figure appeared in the void where the old man was. This was a bird that was as black as ink. It floated in the air like an island in the sky. The feathers on its body were all black and shiny. They looked very tough, like feather blades forged from black iron. Looking from afar, this bird was actually a black eagle. What was different from ordinary eagles was that its body was very large, like a small mountain. In addition, the claws of this huge black eagle flickered with a cold luster. At first glance, it did not seem to be any weaker than an immortal weapon. The huge eagle flew in the sky, giving off an extremely strong sense of oppression. Immortal beast? Elder Mo. Is an immortal beast that transformed into a human? When Duan Lingtian came to a realization, he was slightly surprised. At the same time, he finally understood why he felt that Elder Mo was a little unusual. At the same time, Duan Lingtian subconsciously looked at Bai Gang. Bai Gang gave him the same feeling as Elder Mo low-level king rank immortal beast, green-eyed black eagle. When Lu Guanglin saw Elder Mo's true form, he was stunned for a moment before he could not help but exclaim. Lu Guanglin's exclamation immediately caused Elder Mo, who had transformed into his true form, to turn his head slightly. A pair of green eyes stared at Lu Guanglin. You're quite knowledgeable to recognize my true form. It was rare for Elder Mo to be so talkative. Even when Duan Lingtian greeted him, he did not say anything. Low-level king rank immortal beast? Although this was Duan Lingtian's first time hearing about the green-eyed black eagle, he had read about low-level king rank immortal beasts in some memory celestial talismans. After reaching adulthood, a low-level king rank immortal beast would become a 1 basic celestial king. If they were talented, they could even become a 2 forms celestial king, or 3 talents celestial king. After becoming a celestial king, if they encountered a fortuitous encounter, their strength would increase as well. If they did not encounter a fortuitous encounter, they could only become 3 talents celestial kings at most. Elder Mo's cultivation base. It seems like he's a 1 basic celestial king. Since Duan Lingtian had temporarily possessed strength comparable to ordinary celestial lords and celestial kings, with his consumable royal-grade celestial weapon, he had a certain understanding of the auras of celestial kings. I can't believe Huang Yuanfei isn't the strongest person in Passage City. There's actually a 1 basic celestial king above him. Duan Lingtian clicked his tongue inwardly. Little Tian, let's get on Elder Mo's back. Elder Mo will lead the way to the solitary nation. At this moment, Huang Yuanfei stepped into the air and landed on Elder Mo's back. Then, he turned to call out to Duan Lingtian. Huang Jialong followed behind Duan Lingtian and said, Brother Duan. With Elder Mo's speed, We'll arrive at the capital of the solitary nation in 10 days at most. 10 days? It seems like the supporting Fall nation is still quite a distance away from the capital of the solitary nation. Duan Lingtian sighed. Although 10 days was not a long time, a one basic celestial king was a one basic celestial king. However, the person who brought them there was a one basic celestial king. Moreover, it was a low-grade king-grade celestial beast. After all, bird-type celestial beasts were known for their speed. After all, we're traveling across borders. It's normal for there to be some distance. Huang Jialong smiled. After a few moments, Duan Lingtian, Huang Jialong, and Lu Guanglin landed on Elder Mo's back after Huang Yuanfei and Bai Gang. When he descended onto the back of Old Mo's main body, Duan Lingtian only felt that his feet landed steadily, as if he was walking on flat ground, and there wasn't the slightest bit of bumpiness. Whoosh! Practically at the same time that Duan Lingtian steadied himself, Elder Mo flapped his wings that were like clouds that covered the sky and shot out like a sharp arrow. At this moment, a translucent black light suddenly rose from Elder Mo's body and transformed into a light shield that shrouded the group on his back. The translucent light barrier that was formed by the black light completely blocked the incoming astral wind as Old Mo swiftly flew forward. That's fast. Duan Lingtian looked to his left and right. All he could see was a vast expanse of whiteness. The speed of a one basic celestial king was so fast that he could not even see his surroundings with his naked eye. For a time, he could only look away. Jialong, is Uncle by a celestial beast as well? Duan Lingtian asked through voice transmission as he looked at Huang Jialong. Huh? How did you know? Huang Jialong was shocked when he heard Duan Lingtian's voice transmission. He looked at Duan Lingtian in disbelief. Based on Duan Lingtian's question, it was clear he had only guessed that Bai Gang was a celestial beast. However, even though it was just a guess, Huang Jialong was still shocked. It's true? Duan Lingtian was slightly taken aback. At the same time, he was puzzled as to why he was able to sense the aura of a celestial beast in human form. In the Devata realms, if one's strength was stronger than a celestial beast in human form, it would be easy for one to tell the other was a celestial beast. However, if one's strength was weaker than a celestial beast in human form, one would not be able to tell the other was a celestial beast. Yes, Huang Jialong replied. Brother Duan, how did you know? Huang Jialong asked curiously. I think so. Huang Jialong was looking forward to Duan Lingtian's next words. However, what Duan Lingtian said next rendered him speechless. Intuition. These were Duan Lingtian's exact words. Intuition. In Duan Lingtian's opinion, the feeling he had earlier was no different from intuition. Humph. When Duan Lingtian said it was intuition, the profound divine metal's voice suddenly rang in his mind. Kid, that's not your intuition. It's because the aura on my body is constantly affecting your soul, causing your soul to have a sharper perception. Duan Lingtian nodded. Aren't you in a deep sleep? Why are you awake? Duan Lingtian was puzzled. I sensed the little black eagle's aura, and was afraid it would eat you. However, it seems like it's an enemy and not a friend. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.